I'm going to call the Star City Council meeting to order. It's Tuesday, July 21st, 2026, at 7 p.m. here at the Star City Council chambers. Can you please all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you. And then tonight's invocations by Mr. Bob West with Eagle Christian Church, sir. Thank you. Is that on, Ryan? Yep. Okay.
First of all, good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council and citizens of Star. Thank you for the privilege of allowing me to present the invocation to our Heavenly Father this evening. Please bow your heads with me as we have a little chat with Abba God. Our Heavenly Father, we lift our hearts and prayers to you this evening. You've taught us much about serving others, and we dedicate ourselves to this ideal tonight. Legend has it that when William Booth, the founder of the Salvation Army, was too ill to deliver his message, he sent a one-word telegram that summarized his life's mission to the delegates. It simply said, others. Lord, you know how we love this city of Star, its residents, and its public servants. Encourage us to be generous to others in our time and our talents and our treasures. Help us to see and meet the needs of others. Remind us to be kind to others. Show us that being kind to others is the Star culture that makes all of us want to call this little town our home. It's your two-way gift granted to the giver and the recipient. Respect for others. Though we have differences of opinions, we hold many things that we value in common. Let's find common ground in civil discourse to resolve our differences. Humility with others. We can and should serve others in humility while being true and strong to ourselves. Humility is strength under control. And Lord, civility with others. Communities thrive when we are civil and respectful to all those around us. Help us to be courageous citizens, calling out injustices, serving the underserved, and protecting the virtues and values that we love about Star. Lord, inoculate us from the evils of dissension, bitterness, strife, and ill will towards our neighbors and fellow citizens. Father, infect us instead with your spirit of kindness, generosity, respect, love, and humility. Lastly, Father, bless our mayor and these city council members with your favor and discernment. Grant them wisdom and integrity as they direct the path of our beloved city of Star. Protect our citizens and remind each of us again, daily, why we choose to call our small town Star our home. And all of us say in unison, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Bob. That was outstanding. Appreciate that. All right, roll call.
Day,
Here.
Wheelock,
Here.
Salmonson. Here. Nielsen.
And Nielsen is absent. He's not online, right? He got called out for work yesterday out of state, and he wasn't able to get online. And Councilman Day is sicker than can be, and he's participating remotely. Just thank you. Appreciate that. All right, we'll move on to presentations. We have Chief Haynes report. Please, Chief, report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I'm Tim Haynes, the Chief of Police for the City of Star. I appreciate the opportunity to present the report for June. If you'll go to the top there, you'll see we have a total of 206 crimes year to date. We're on track to be under our goal of 18 crimes per 1,000 residents. The next section down, crimes reported by month. For those that haven't seen this before, if you go right underneath that, you'll see a legend that describes what type of crimes fit into each category. We have 9 person crimes, 10 property crimes, and a pretty decent jump up to 21 society crimes, which is made up for the most part by drug arrests over the month. I'll go over a couple of those in a moment. Going down, we have police activity. We are at a ratio of 7.8 proactive calls to every response for service. So 426 total calls for service from our citizens with a 3,335 proactive calls, which is the deputies going out and finding work on their own. For our call types for the month, we had a jump in domestic violence. We had 11 over 6 this time last year. That's not unusual during the summer. Juvenile activity, the same, not unusual for the summer for us to have a jump up to 28. 513 location checks is a standout, along with the number of traffic stops at 492, which is a large increase over this time last year. Specifically because of our POP team, who have the opportunity to go out and do these kind of traffic stops and only concentrate on that. Do you mind going back up to the top? We had 4 mental hold cases. You jump down, 15 total arrests. We had 40% of those arrests involving drug charges, which leads us back to that 21 society crimes. Of those drug charges, 4 were meth, 1 was cocaine, and the remainder was paraphernalia and misdemeanor drug arrests. 182 total citations for the month. City code responses were at 60. And our response times, we have a 1-minute response time for inside Star, which is excellent. Only 3 responses there. We had 12 total responses outside of Star, and it's just over our goal at 5 minutes and 34 seconds. However, I did some math to get an accurate count because one of those was actually a 24-minute long pursuit that Star was involved in, and that extends our code 3 response time outside the city. Our actual response time for that month, removing that anomaly, was 3 minutes and 53 seconds. So if we take the pursuit out, which the software automatically includes, we're actually within our goal of 4 minutes. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Councilman Wheelock?
Yeah, it's, the society crimes, 21, is that, crimes, I'm assuming not 21 different people. It could be a group that are getting more than one charge. Is that?
Yes, when we report this stuff to the FBI, every individual person who is a suspect or a victim is an additional crime. So that actually includes a number of different people. If I go through this, it was 10 counts of paraphernalia, 6 counts of marijuana possession, 4 counts of methamphetamine possession, and 1 count of cocaine possession. So it could, like, some of those could have come off 1 car stop.
Thank you.
And then Chief, do you have a question? Okay, sorry. So on those drug stops and stuff like that, it's because of our proactive policing on the state highways that we're.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Yeah, and there'll come a point where we'll have to start separating those out because they're getting better and better at reading the traffic. They're starting, the arrests are starting to accumulate on the proactive policing.
How's Luna doing?
Luna's great. She's part of this.
Good.
She had a big bus too, not too long ago, right?
She's got big bus on a regular basis. Plus what she's doing, she recently, they ran Luna for the post office, which resulted in a seizure there too.
Oh, wow. Cool. Awesome. All right. Any further questions for Chief?
Thank you, Chief.
All
Yep,
right. Thank
thank
you,
you.
sir. Appreciate it. All right. Miss Michelle, our city treasurer, is going to talk about our quarterly financial report for the third quarter.
Need glasses on, I can't.
And she loves to speak. So
Yeah,
everybody stare at her for a minute.
no. Mayor, City Council, thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm going to talk a little bit about our expenses and revenues for the last 3 months, bringing us up to date for the year. I feel in my position that we are sitting pretty good as far as our expenses go. We are at 74%, 74.82% specifically, which at 3 quarters through the year, we're sitting pretty good at 70, less than 75%. There are some expenses that are above the average or the percentage that we would like. I'll discuss those. Like our land use bond returns, those are a pass-through account. So that money is not the city's, it's a holding account for the bonds that we hold for the contractors. We have a 470% increase in our property taxes, which actually is not, I mean, it's a great percentage, but the actual amount is really low because that's a property that we purchased
I'll go to expenses.
a while. I don't remember exactly when we
That
purchased
was,
it.
that was
Was that-
last October timeframe when we
Right.
purchased that.
We have the plans, which came in a little bit high, but that was because we recruited them for more additional help, like our investing questions that we had. There's other plans that we have with them that helped increase that. Our events, our hometown community, our community events, costs came in a little bit higher, but for example, our 4th of July celebration came in at an astounding event, so I think we did very well with that one. So overall, my opinion is that we're sitting pretty good at 75% of our expenses. I'll talk about the revenue now. We are over the 75% at almost 80% sitting there currently. We are only at 66%, 67% for our property tax revenue, but we have not received our second large increment due the end of this month. Our sales tax will be coming in more. We've got more franchise fees coming in. Our rentals are still more coming in with the river houses that we've got. They're extremely busy right now. We have our grants, our police grant. We have not received our police grant yet. That land use fee that's tied into the bonds that we have to pay out, so that will vary. Our interest income, as you can see, was 200% above what it was predicted, and that's due to us moving funds around to different opportunities with increased interest. That will increase as well because we are moving, yet again, some more funds to higher interest accounts. We have not used any of our cash funds. That's the transfer money from savings that is available to us, but we have not used that. Coupled with the impact fees and stuff, like I said, we're sitting at just under 80% for the year. So I think we're doing pretty good. Is there any questions?
Councilman Wheelock.
Yeah, just with those numbers, and this is maybe something that's a little less factual, but to your knowledge, where do you expect us to come in at the end of the year with what numbers that you do know we're getting?
If we stay on track for what we've done quarterly, I think we'll come in at right around 100% of our budget. Our revenue will be in over 100%. That's not a question. But I believe our expenses will come in right at around 100%. I think we're sitting pretty good.
I guess my question would be with our budget, as we go through our budget counseling and all that we're doing to get ready to make our budget for the year, do you see that number being accurate with our building permits versus our income, that kind of
I do see it accurate. We did budget for 1,000 building permits, and I know that we've decreased that for this next year.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, we've got other income that has increased. So does it compare? I think it compares fairly well. I think it will be right on track.
Perfect. I like being able to adjust the number of housing permits so that we're accurate to maybe what the market's actually going to produce. So we're not sky high somewhere and super low other places. It leaves us all a little more confident that we're budgeting ourselves wisely and correctly.
Well,
Thank you.
that's the goal. It's the goal.
You had a question?
Sure. Thank you.
Councilwoman?
Yeah, thank you. So I did notice on the like buildings and grounds, so we're at almost 92% for the third quarter. So we still have a full quarter to go. And so, obviously we'll be over budget on that. And so the process, do you just like take, so I mean, you're not taking, but you're just maybe moving money that we're not using somewhere else in our expense budget and putting it into the buildings and grounds?
that will be something that we will address during a budget adjustment,
Uh-huh.
should we need one. But yes, certainly we'll be able to take from one area that didn't have that expense, and we'll move it to one that did.
Yep, okay,
For perfect example is the grounds, building and grounds.
okay.
And a lot of that stuff gets purchased at the beginning of the season. It's like fertilizers and all that kind of stuff. So we're running to the end of the year.
Oh,
On it,
okay,
right.
So we may.
Fertilizers.
It may not hit the budgeted number with that.
Oh, okay, so there may not be substantial.
There may
Correct.
not be a
Oh,
big change
right.
on that.
And fertilizer is a perfect example. I know that it came in substantially more than we were
Yeah,
predicting. It just happens.
but we have other areas that we haven't spent any money on
Correct.
either
Right.
in that buildings and grounds.
Correct.
And then for the parks development, does that, is that the money that is coming out of our impact?
Some of it's impact fees and some of it's general funds.
Okay.
Yep.
That's for the Liberty Hall and our bridge.
Yep, yep.
Bridges.
And so I guess, are we on budget for like what we approved for, Liberty Hall?
Yep.
Yep, okay. Just curious.
We have a contingency fund in there too that was built into it that we're eating into
Okay.
on that.
Okay, all right, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Ryan, did anybody sign up on public comment? Okay, so no one signed up on public comment. We move on to the consent agenda.
All right, Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman?
Move to approve the consent agenda consisting of 6A, approval of claims, 6B, Moyle Junction annexation conditional use permit, findings of fact, conclusions of law with the revised findings. 6C, the Scenic View subdivision final plat, 6D, River Park subdivision number 4 final plat, and 6E, Rivermore subdivision time extension.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilwoman Solomon, a second by Councilman Wheelock. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Day,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Salmonson,
Aye.
All right, that motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to item 7, our public hearings. I'm just going to make a quick note that if you're here for 7C, we're going to be tabling that to the second meeting in August. Because Councilman Nielsen is the champion of those two, so he's not here to champion for him. He got called out for work. Yes, so we're going to table that to the second meeting, and we're going to do that real quick. I want to, what's the second meeting in August? What day is that? August 20, let's see, 7, 11, 18th? Yep. So we're going to go on the C. I'm going to ask the council to table C to August 18th.
Mayor Chadwick?
Councilwoman?
Move to table item 7C, municipal code amendment, residential rental ordinance and unlawful sign ordinance to August 18th.
Okay, we got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Day,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Salmonson.
Aye.
All right, that motion carries. That item will be now on August 18th. All right, we're going to move on to item 7A, the comprehensive plan map and text amendment. This was continued from May 5th, 2026. It is 7:18, and I'm going to open the public hearing on this process and have Sean start us out with this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Your first public hearing this evening is for the comprehensive plan amendment. The city has initiated this update to the comprehensive plan land use map and text in order to recognize newly created, requested, and revised land use designations on the future land use map and updates within the text and exhibits within the comprehensive plan to reflect those changes. Staff did follow the correct procedures of outlined in the UDC with regards to legal noticing of the meetings, agency and stakeholder notification, and you did have a city workshop back in February of 2026. Regarding the future land use map amendments, I'll go briefly through the amendments, and then also put the, so I can put the map on the screen afterwards. First, we'll talk about the city initiated. Changes. City initiated land use reclassification of specific properties. This includes changing certain land use designations to match the current zoning and uses, and adding specific designations to areas of Canyon County that have been added to the STAR area of impact. This includes designation of BLM land and Department of Interior properties in Ada and Canyon counties as public use and public park and open space. Designation of certain properties within Canyon County from agricultural to low density residential. Updating the map for the Dude DeWalt Winery property on Highway 16 to match the current zoning to rural residential. Update the map for the Longbow subdivision property on Pollard Lane and Broken Arrow to match the current zoning to estate rural residential. Update the map for the Day Spring Church property on Beacon Light to match the approved rural residential designation zoning. Designate the new Colt Heights City Park to public use and open space. Update developed properties on State Street from CBD to commercial to match the approved zoning of those properties. Update the city-owned properties at the River House to public use and open space. Change compact residential designations to estate urban residential designations on the map. And extend the CBD designation to the south side of Frost Street to match the newly adopted downtown visioning plan boundary map. We also had some property owners request specific designation changes. So we'll go through that real briefly. Those include the request from the property owner on Chaparral Road near the future Chaparral Road Highway 16 interchange to redesignate properties from rural residential to commercial. Requests from a property owner on Pollard Road to change the designation. This is Pollard Road near the Highway 16.
That's where the interchange is?
That's where the.
This is number 6.
That's
If
where
we use
the-
those numbers, that helps.
That's where the Pollard Road connects to Highway 16.
Gotcha.
Change that from commercial and mixed use to estate rural residential.
Okay.
Request from property owner Highland Livestock and Land Company near the new Valnova interchange to redesignate the property from rural residential to commercial. Request from the property owner on Pollard Road to redesignate from commercial to mixed use. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the one I just read earlier. Request from property owner Antonov Star Commercial to redesignate within the south of the river plan illustrative map a parcel within the Inspirato subdivision from compact residential to commercial for future church use. And finally, request from the property owner Sundance Group. That was the request for that property on the east side of Highway 16 at Joplin Road. That request has since been withdrawn by the applicant. Staff was recommending denial of that request, but that request has been withdrawn. So real briefly here, let's look at the map. And so again, this is the land use map, and it shows those highlighted areas that I discussed, including the new impact area in Canyon County and designating those properties open space and low density residential. That's on both the Canyon County side, and then designating some property that's BLM owned on the Ada County side.
And again, that's that Chaparral Road property. And those folks are here tonight to give a brief presentation on those properties. This is the property at the Valnova interchange, request to commercial. The Dude DeWalt property redesignation. The Pollard Lane property from commercial and mixed use to residential. The Dayspring Church on Beacon Light.
Read the numbers too, Sean, just so everybody knows what number we're talking about.
Number 10. Number 7, the land use change to recognize the Longbow subdivision. That's off of Broken Arrow Road, number 7. Number 8 is to remove those compact residential designations and change those to estate urban residential. And that's with the exception of the Bell property, which is currently under design. The property is along State Street, the changing from the Central Business District designation to the commercial designations on those properties that are already either developed or have a current commercial zone. That was number 12. Number 13 was the extension of the Central Business District to the south side of Frost Street, east of Star Road, north of State Street. Number 13. And the River House property redesignation of that, the property that, the two properties that the city has taken over the last couple of years and designating that as open space designation. And then number 15, the property within the Inspirato subdivision, the request on the south of the river plan to change that parcel from compact residential to commercial to accommodate a future church application that we currently have. Number 15. And then finally, that area on the east side of Highway 16 at Joplin Road that the owner has withdrawn that request. That was the number 9 right here.
And I'm just going to make it very clear on number 9 that the owner came to us months ago to talk about a change. Since then, they filed an application with the city of Meridian. So it's an active application with the city of Meridian for all that property. And then since that time frame in discussions, they have withdrawn the request to make any changes and leave the current zoning as it is. So everybody's clear.
Current designation, yeah.
What's that?
Current comp plan
Yeah,
designation.
the current comp plan designation, it doesn't change. It stays where it's at. Okay, and then Councilman Wheelock, I think, had a question.
Okay.
Sean?
Yeah, let's go up to the top, number 2. So designating the BLM land in Ada County to public use open space is a request by staff. What does that change from its current land designation as BLM land to public use open space in a practical sense for those people that are up there?
Currently, our comprehensive plan designates those 2 pieces of property as rural residential. So
The BLM
the
land.
BLM land. So by changing the designation to open space, public use and open space, it just brings that designation in line with what the uses are currently on the property. Very similar to what we already have designated north of Hillsdale. And then a couple of other areas within our city that's.
So it's a stay on the road, use it at your own risk, kind of a piece of property up there?
We're not annexing it. All we're doing is designating the property. So it's still BLM land. It's still in the county,
It'll be public land.
which is it's public land. It's the city recognizing it as public land on our comprehensive plan.
And do you have another question, or was that it?
I'll be back.
Okay. Councilwoman, any questions on the map?
Yeah, thank you. So regarding, let's see, number 13, so the CBD to match the downtown visioning plan. So, I thought we were going to like change that CBD zoning in the downtown, similar to what we did with south of the river. And so, just curious why, why we're not taking that approach, like we did with the south of the river plan.
You mean, creating a separate map within the comprehensive plan to
Well, no,
recognize the,
just designating it, that specific area, as the, I don't know, like the downtown, district.
So we have, so in the
Yeah, so-
downtown visioning plan, we had like 3 districts or 4 districts.
five districts,
Five.
yeah.
Right.
And so within the text that we'll talk about in a minute, we've broken down those
And
specific uses. If you want to have staff include a specific map, kind of like we have for the south of the river
River.
map within that, we could do that. I don't want to change this land use map like we did over here and just make it all one color, just to make it all one, because there's several uses within this. It would just make the map too busy. So so within the text, if you want to adopt that as a separate map, we could do that within the, kind of like we did with the illustration plan for south of the river. So we don't
Right.
show it on the large map, but we show it within the bound.
Yeah. So I see
plan.
that point, but then I'm curious why then we want to change that one little section in the south of the river plan. That little, what number is that? Number 15. That one little box where basically,
13 or
Taking-
15?
uh,
You're saying 15 now?
15, right?
You're talking about this. We're not changing it on this map. This map is just to illustrate where it is in
Oh,
the
okay,
city.
so it's going to stay red.
We're going to be changing the illustrated map, the south of the river plan illustrated map to recognize that as commercial.
Oh, I see. So nothing is changing on the comprehensive plan. It's changing in the south of the river
It's the
bubble map.
sub-plan
Yeah,
of the
okay, that makes
comprehensive
So,
plan.
this is this is the south of the river illustration plan.
Yeah.
That's part of the comp plan text.
Yeah,
It's a reference in that, which is what we can do for the downtown
Yeah.
visioning plan, have the same type of map. So within that, they're requesting that this area right here, instead of being designated as compact residential, designate that as commercial.
yeah.
So we'll update this map, which will be part of the comprehensive
Yeah.
plan.
Okay,
It's kind of a subsection,
okay.
if that makes sense.
Yep, that makes total sense. And so I guess I am still thinking that it would be a good idea to take that same concept and apply it to our downtown visioning, where we somehow know on our comp plan that it has a special sub-district.
So if I can continue with the rest of the comp plan, you'll see where we've added that to the text that references that.
But that's in
I
the
think-
text,
So what
not
she,
in the map.
so what she's asking, Sean, is for that downtown visioning plan boundary, give it its own color.
Yeah,
And then you do a map, just like you did there in the text, that breaks it down on what every district is. So we know when you look at the comp plan map, that this has its own plan, just like we did with the South River plan.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so currently the purple area right here, with the exception of the green areas that are public, represent that.
Right, but the
Area.
purple
But it
area is the
goes-
whole thing.
Right. it
The
goes all
downtown
the
visioning
way-
plan is not all of that purple area.
There's 5 plans in that purple.
Right.
Yeah, and so like the purple, the CBD currently in the comp plan, it goes all the way down to Plummer Road. The downtown visioning plan, it only goes to, what was it? Not Seneca, but,
Yeah.
yeah, right. And so just to prevent any confusion, if the people are just looking at the map, then they know that, oh, that area has a special,
So again, staff recommends that we don't change this map to recognize that we do it through the same type of map we did for the south of the river. It's just going to get too confusing on that future land use map.
But it's one color. I don't think it is too
Oh, one
No,
confusing.
because you have 5 different districts. And so what you want is
No.
you want to have.
But you break your 5 districts down into something like this on a submap within the text. You're just saying on the comprehensive plan that this area
Okay.
is our downtown visioning plan. That's all we're saying.
Okay.
We're not
Yeah.
trying to break out each vision.
Okay.
It's just one solid. color.
right?
That's
And
where
you
she's
could
going with
even
that.
pull that same map that's in the downtown visioning plan, the overall, that has the different districts. And it's the same idea as what the bubble map is. And just put that map into the text. And you probably have it.
Yep, we can do that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And then one more question. Okay. I'm curious about number, was the one with Bell. Number 8. So that one, we're going from compact residential to estate. So 5 to 10 units per acre down to 2 units per acre.
3. The state urban
Oh,
residential.
is it estate urban? Okay.
Mhm.
And so, that is close to our central business district area where we want that density. So I'm curious, the reasoning behind that. Was that, yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah. Staff has gotten a lot of concerns by some of the council members on traffic and wanted to propose. This is just a proposal. So you guys have to make the decision if you want to change these designations. I know there's one of you that wanted to keep it, but from the input that I've gotten over the last couple of years with even with a couple different council members, the desire to relook at that compact residential designation has always been brought up. And so staff is bringing it up to you tonight to review and decide if you want to keep it the way it is or if you want to lower the density. It's kind of like you've done over the years in other areas of the city.
Right. And so we've gone from like the 3 to 5 down to we've reduced it to the 3 units per acre in a lot of the area, I believe, over the last couple of years.
Again, the compact residential allows 5 to 10 dwelling units per acre.
Right, yeah. And so what does that look, is that like duplexes? Like what does a 5 to 10 units per acre look like? Because I think what does that look
It
like?
could
It
be
just depends
it
on
could
how
be
they
anything-
design
yeah,
the
it could be
parcel.
anything from duplexes all the way up to apartments.
Yeah. Any idea what that percentage is that we're pulling out in the compact?
Well, no, but we've had discussions about pulling that section out on both sides because it's not desired to have that much compact residential on overcrowded streets down here in that section.
In that.
Yeah, and so
And so then we're leaving it with just this strip over here. Is that correct?
right, and that's the stuff over by Albertsons, which it's already built out that way.
Yeah, this area right here is already built out.
And so then it's just leaving this parcel over here open that in the future could be that.
So this area is
I think
already,
it's already built.
this area is already developed, so this should change anyways to recognize the
Right.
current
Yep.
R3.
Yep.
Um,
I guess, do we have any area open still for that type of a product?
all-
Yeah, down
all
in the
this-
south, the river plant has a big area.
Several places could have quite a large impact on that. That's the field across from the elementary school.
Okay. Okay.
On both.
Just want to
on
make
both
sure
sides
it's
is
close
our-
to like, the main road. So, just for
I mean,
planning
it is.
purposes, that makes sense, right?
It is, and personally, staff feels that you should have some density in your downtown, but again,
Yeah.
But we have some of that
Outside-
built in with
Balancing
our,
act of the transportation over, yeah.
okay, but we have the density built in into some of our south of the river plan with the compact residential and stuff like that, where we're intending to move the downtown at some point,
Mhm.
right? And there's a lot down on that south of the river plan. If you pull that up right here again, Sean,
Okay.
there's a bunch of that down there. Let's see if you pull it up. So if you look at that, we got high density residential, we got compact residential, and you have mixed use stuff that will have residential in there too. So there's a lot of area there. Then up on the bench, we have high density residential down the South River Plan along 16 and on the bench up there. And then we just built out high density residential along 16 and 44, where it's the areas that we
So,
plan to have that.
so number 8, we're talking about changing it from its higher density to lower density.
To a lower density. Yeah, from a 5 to 10 to a 3.
And if you go back 5 years when we dumped 40% of everything so that we had larger spaces.
Right. And I again, I just want to, I just want to make sure that we do have some, that there is a space for it. And so with the South of the River Plan, which is next to a major corridor, I think that makes sense. And like this area is pretty built out already. So,
Right.
yeah, thank you for that explanation. I appreciate it. Let's see, those were my only 2 items I had. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more? No.
Let's go on for a minute.
Go on. Hang on a second. Let me make sure Councilman Day doesn't have anything since he's online. Okay, hearing none. We'll keep moving. Is he still there, right? Yeah, okay, all right, all right. Go ahead, Sean, sorry.
It's okay. So
No, I
regarding-
didn't have anything, man.
Okay, thank you.
Then regarding the comprehensive plan text amendments, I'll just go briefly over some of the highlights here. And then if you have any questions, we can discuss them. So the revisions include updating the acknowledgement sheet at the beginning of the document, updating the data from Chapter 5 for population, update the school data on Chapter 6, Chapter 7 economic development data. Also on Chapter 7, adding the central business district definition to include the downtown visioning information. And then within that, we can incorporate that new map that we discussed that shows the 5 distinct districts. Chapter 8, update the land use designations, mostly the central business district designation. Incorporate new future land use map within the document. Oops. Update the central business downtown visioning elements into text. Chapter 9, natural resources to recognize natural areas dedicated to the city. Chapter 11, public services, update the fire response times. Add the level of service goals and policies that were recommended by Council Member Nielsen. Sorry, update the, back over here.
What page is that on, Sean?
We're still on page 4 here, sorry.
He's
Trying
reading off his.
to shake you.
You're losing me.
Update references to Highway District 4 and future transportation review maintenance within Canyon County. Then include the updated eCamp map within the document. Update Chapter 13. Councilwoman Solomonson provided all the revisions for Chapter 13 for Parks and Recreation, which we would recommend adopting. update Chapter 15, the housing exhibits. Chapter 16 to include the new Central Business District, Center Business, it's the CBD downtown visioning elements, excuse me. And Chapter 21, South of the River map with any changes from council as proposed by Inspirato. So that would be that specific change that's requested from compact to commercial on that one parcel. And then staff would recommend council authorizing staff to update all the remaining exhibits and maps with the current data on those chapters, all the chapters within the document. Staff was unable to get all of those completed for this meeting, but if you could just direct staff to get those updated, all that data updated and put into the document. So you're looking at updating the land use map, the zoning compatibility matrix, street classification, ECAMP map, add the area of impact map as recognized by both Ada and Canyon County from their recent approvals of those areas, and the update of the south of the river plan. That's all staff has for now. We can go through individual sections if you want, or we can hear from the public, however you want to move forward.
Yeah, so when we're looking at the data, I will just say that Kelly from the clerk's office helped us get a lot of the data together, update it, because a lot of our data was from 2011 to 2017, and we've had some serious growth during that time frame. And so we've got updated data from 2021 to 2023, which came out of a lot of our CIP demographics data that we got last year with the CIP plans that we put together, capital improvement plans.
Yeah, some of the things we'll be updating are the fire district maps, the sewer and water maps. There's some more demographics that need to be kind of put in place to recognize after 2019.
Okay, do we have a sign-in sheet, Ryan, for this one? You have any questions? I'm sorry. I didn't see you, Anthony, over there, so.
Yeah, I'll ask a couple questions. So I'm curious, so are you asking for us tonight to approve what you have here? And then you're going to go back and make the changes and then it will be done? Is that what you're?
Yeah, before we publish the comprehensive plan map, it will allow staff some additional time to update those demographics and those maps. And it's not anything I believe the council needs to approve because it's just statistics.
Okay.
And so approve the specific designations that are being proposed and the new text amendments, basically the red lines that staff provided within your staff report. Approve those this evening, then direct staff to bring the rest of the exhibits up to current
Yep. Okay.
data standards.
Okay. Yeah. So if it's just data and
Data and graphs.
right, and then including like the downtown visioning plan, things like that. It's not substantial, like new information, it's like deliberation. We've already discussed a lot.
As far as the downtown plan, I'm just going to basically take the plan that you guys adopted. I'm going to make an exhibit. I'm going to put it into the text.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And so, do you mind if I just make a couple comments on it then?
Yeah, you can make comments.
Okay.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, well, I guess
This is your
let's
plan.
go through it. So just a few. So on page 180 in the comprehensive plan, we're talking kind of back to my thought earlier about, I don't, maybe you're going to update those pie charts.
Yes.
But would like to see those updated for the current. So we have current proportions of different types of land uses. And then, let's see, and then I had a question about the level of service section. And I would, what came to mind as I read through it was,
Sorry, do you have the page number?
yep, page, in the packet, it's 230, and the comp plan, it's page 91.
At 2:30 in the packet? Is that what you said?
Yeah, yep. As I read through this, it specifically calls out, the fire and EMS and water and sewer, and it didn't mention the schools. And was that on purpose that it doesn't mention, that it doesn't include it, or specifically exclude it? Because I did, and I'll just stop there with that question.
I think we do have a level of service ordinance that is coming up. And basically, if you approve that level of service ordinance, you could just direct staff to include it in the comp plan, if that's what you're questioning.
Yeah, Councilmember Nielsen recommended both the comp plan policy update for the level of service and also the code revision. And so you're looking at both of them tonight. Right now, you're looking at the comp plan
Right.
section of that
Right.
request.
And so I guess because it doesn't mention it, as more projects come before us, I would be interested to get the attorney's opinion about, could we use like this section as a way to, if we have 1,000 house neighborhood coming in and it's gonna throw the schools way above the enrollment, can this section help us, put some conditions in there or something to help with the ease, with the burden it's gonna put on the schools?
So you can always put conditions on anything that's annexed or a comprehensive or zoning, right? On any of those to address your concerns at that time without the comprehensive plan. I mean, it's really open to anything because it's the annexation is a voluntary thing between the city and landowner.
Correct. Just a reminder, the comp plan is not a law, right? It's just a plan. So it's not something that you would necessarily rely on when you're reviewing an application because those are subject to your ordinances. But to the mayor's point, if you're looking at somebody's coming in, typically your process, right, when somebody wants to annex, they are annexing into the city and requesting a zoning that has to fit the comprehensive plan, right? And so that we kind of do that first step. And so sometimes they request comp plan amendments, either map or text. And then when you're looking at the actual application, then it's subject to the zoning ordinance. So if there's specific standards that you want that are going to apply across the board, it's probably better to have it in ordinance. Because the comp plan, like I say, it's not necessarily going to, let me take a step back. Once an application comes in and they say it's zoned R3, they come in to do an application in that zone. We're just going to look at the ordinance and say, what does the ordinance require for R3 zone? Does it comply? Approve, not approve, right? So we're already past kind of the comp plan stage at that point typically. But you can certainly add language in the text that says these are our goals and this is what our intent is. But putting an actual statement that says, for instance, there's a standard you have to meet or a level of service that has to be met, would be better off in a zoning ordinance than in your plan. Okay. The other kind of part to that is similar to like the Ada County Highway District. When we're talking levels of service for the streets or intersections, they set those because the roads and intersections belong to them or to ITD, right? We don't necessarily set a different level of service and say, sorry, ACHD, you've got to comply with this. So when we're talking about the schools, to the extent we're going to require or have a level of service, that's something we want to do in coordination with the West Ada School District. And that's a conversation you'd have to have, I think, with them to make sure that you've got something in your code that they're comfortable with and that we're not doing something that's going to interfere with their planning, if that makes sense. And that can be a challenge, right? Because we always, with any of the entities, we always send out letters we're sending out the application to everybody requesting letters. It's like, can you tell us, does this satisfy? And if we get a letter back from the school district that says, yeah, we're okay with this because our plan says that in 5 years, we're going to build a school here, even though today it's overcrowded. We just have to, I think, be a little careful that we're not interfering with other agencies and their plans with things that they actually control.
And so after your review of this section, did you see any like issues?
No, again, it's a plan, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and so the city's got a lot of discretion on what that plan says. You can make it more or less specific, or more or less, restrictive, or both. So from that respect, for me, it's kind of, I'm not the elected official, so if it has in it what you want in it, again, it's a plan and it guides the city. It lets applicants know when they're coming, what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And so if it has in it what you'd like, then that's okay.
I'm going to give my input on the school side of it because schools are a tough one. They're tough because the state's mandated to provide education for the students, regardless of the number of students that you have, right? The state is also obligated in the past by Supreme Court rulings to pay for schools, which they are starting to do that now, right? So they got to continue to create that funding. But we're in a different environment in today's world on schools. Like a subdivision that comes in, you don't know. It could be a public school kids, it could be private school, it could be homeschool because they're all spread out on there. So like an ordinance on a school is a tough one. A level of service, I think, on a school is a tough one to try to determine. And
It's one of the same reasons why it's difficult and why the state doesn't currently allow impact fees for schools.
Right.
Because you just don't, and the house today may not have any children. As soon as they sell it, a family may move in that has 5 kids. And so it's difficult to say we know exactly what the impact is going to be, unlike roads, right, where it's a little more predictable.
Yeah.
Um,
Or fire too.
Correct. Yeah. And so it's in police, same thing. Some of those we can calculate. Schools are hard.
schools are very hard.
There's no doubt that they need, money and those sorts of things. I think the school districts generally does a pretty good job. They may disagree, but when you've got a large development that comes in to get land for an elementary school, for instance, or even for a middle school, that the developer is going to donate, so they can get some help. But yeah, it's hard because it's not as calculable or predictable maybe as some of the other services that are provided by the government.
And because of some of those factors, school districts are reluctant to even really give you a opinion,
right,
on that stuff anyway. And when you do provide, a developer wants to provide land to help alleviate a school, schools got to be willing to accept it. So what happens if they don't accept it? Then what? Right?
Yeah.
Was that their opportunity at that point? That's the challenge we're having with the school side of it right now. But we're very thankful the city of Star has got 2 elementary schools, new ones being built. One
Right.
open, the other one all paid for by the state. So
And I know
benefit.
we do have a closer relationship with West Ada.
Yep.
And always, you're always,
So
it's
Yeah.
a valid question and it's a tough one to answer. So
help define this for me if you would, Mr. Mayor.
where are we at?
Level of service
230?
goal, ensure the,
Yeah.
Yep, 230.
Same one.
ensure the provision and adequate sustainability of public services that protect health, safety. I get that. That's fire and police and all that, right? But welfare of the community, what is that in level of service?
Well, health, safety, and welfare can apply to many things.
What does wealth of the community apply to?
It
Because it seems
Right, it's
pretty
hard to,
vague.
well, it is, but that health, safety and welfare is just a clause that you see throughout the statutes everywhere. It's just kind of what the power of the city is to protect the health, safety and welfare. It's almost like it's one word, right? I mean, that's just how they don't say protect the health and then later the safety and then later welfare. So they're always together, almost always. So I don't know that I could give you a definition of what welfare means specifically because I think they're all interrelated. And so generally what it's talking about is you have, the opportunity just to protect all of those things. It could just be the general well-being of the community. But they all kind of tie together. So it's hard to say, well, when you say welfare, it means this service. When you say safety, it means this service. It's a broad, I think the intent is it's intended to be a broad umbrella for the city's police powers, to really be able to take care of their citizens. It's intended to be broad, not restrictive. That's how I would characterize them.
Okay.
One more. So on that same page, but in the, after FF, so in there, well, we're talking about hazardous waste, and I'm also on the Ada County. It's different. Let's see. So we are on implementation policies. I'd just like to add one, and that is to incorporate a household hazardous collection site in city limits. And I feel like that's broad enough that, we're not like, have no idea what that looks like today, but at some point, maybe we have somebody, something similar to what Eagle does, just yeah.
You just, what page you want that on?
So it would be GG on page 91.
230 in the packet.
Yes,
GG
page-
at the very top.
Yep. So right after the FF.
Did you get that, Sean? Yeah. And that's one that we're working with Republic on anyway.
Right.
But-
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's part of the, health, safety and welfare. Yeah.
Okay, anything further? Councilman Day?
No, I don't have anything, Mayor.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to move on to the public testimony part of this. When you come up to speak, please state your name and address for the record. And we are talking about the comprehensive plan on here only. You got 3 minutes. There's a timer right there that Ryan will set up. What's this one? Well, what's that one? Oh, you made a copy. Oh, I'm like, you're throwing me off, man. All right, and so we got several people that wanted to speak to this, so we will have you come up here, and you have 3 minutes and state your name and address. And I think we have the first ones online. Is that correct, Dana? Sush Ruth, I believe. And if you could spell your name when you come online.
My name is Sushruth. It's spelled Sushruth, and Purush, Purush. I
Perfect.
live at 4074 West Magic Moon Court.
I'm sorry, 4074 West Magic Moon.
Court. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening,
right.
mayors.
Go ahead.
Good evening, mayors and members of the council. My name is Sushruth Purush. I'm 12 years old and I am a local resident. I'm speaking tonight to strongly oppose the comprehensive plan map amendment to change the area north of Joplin Road to medium and high density residential. I want to highlight 3 reasons why this map change is a mistake tonight. First, this decision predetermines the community's future rules. Changing nearly 300 acres to high density right now locks in a permanent policy for this land before the broader regional boundaries and impact areas are fully settled. Second, it creates severe infrastructure mismatches. The local roads, public safety resources, and school capacities surrounding Joplin Road are not currently built to handle high-density townhouses or multifamily clusters. Third, it directly impacts my generation's future. The choices made on the specific map tonight will permanently shape the traffic, layout, and safety of the neighborhood I'm going to grow up in. Please protect thoughtful, transparent planning. I ask that you vote down these high-density amendments tonight. Thank you for your time and for listening to the voices of your younger residents.
Thank you. Just so you're aware, that section, we're not even going to hear tonight. It's staying where it's at. Just so you're aware. So you already won on that one. So nice job.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to Tom.
Good evening. My name is Tom Canfield. I'm an owner at 9614 Chaparral. There's 2 parcels there for a total of about 55 acres just north of Firebird Raceway on the west side there of Highway 16. Just wanted to say that just introduce myself. I'm an Idaho native. Grew up farming here. I've seen a lot of change in the valley. I think a net positive, but like the previous speaker mentioned, I think that you have to be transparent and respectful. Excuse me. So for that property there, we're requesting annexation, or at least to be included in the comprehensive plan, and eventually, hopefully, annexed into the city of Star. And in anything we might do there, we want to ensure that we are being we want to be sure that we have appreciation for and cooperation with the community, as well as the council and all officials. And having seen so much growth in the county and cities over the years, that respect and transparency to everyone involved is crucially important to us. I think it's fundamental. I think it's a big part of doing things the Idaho way. We think that, growth can be a good thing. We also think that Idaho and Star and Ada County's innate character is a good thing also. And I think both of those things can coexist in a way that provides a net positive. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak. And I look forward to the opportunity to ensure that that growth does result in a net positive.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Tom? No? All right. You're good. All right, Ms. Sabrina, your turn. And just so everybody, she's speaking for the Canfields tonight.
This one's important. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Yes. Mayor Chadwick, members of the council, hello and good evening. For the record, my name is Sabrina Durchie, and I'm here on behalf of the Canfield family. My business address is 5179 South Boven Avenue, Boise, Idaho 83716. And this evening, we are in support of the comp plan map amendment changes being proposed. But I'd like to specifically discuss the commercial designation along Highway 16 near the Firebird Raceway. So the Canfield family owns 2 parcels located in the unincorporated Ada County at 9606 and 9614 West Chaparral. The properties are currently designated rural residential under the City of Star's comprehensive plan. However, considering the ITD's planned Highway 16 expansion and the established commercial nature of the adjacent Firebird Raceway, we believe this area represents a logical extension for commercial designation. Now, let's kind of take a little closer look at ITD's plans for this area. So ITD is moving forward with significant improvements to Highway 16, as you probably all are aware, including roadway widening and infrastructure upgrades along the frontage of both subject parcels, circled in red, highlighted in red in our slide. A key component to the project is a new underpass directly in front of the properties that will provide access to the Firebird Raceway. The reconfigured traffic pattern will direct a steady flow of vehicles past the site, substantially increasing the visibility and accessibility. Positioned perfectly between Emmett and Star, the properties offer a strategic location for future commercial services that can serve both local residents and regional travelers. So we feel that this site, adjacent to the existing commercial, again, and the planned improvements, is an ideal location to capture increased traffic and visibility. The properties present a prime opportunity for commercial development that will serve the residents of Star, travelers from Emmett, and visitors to the Firebird Raceway. The proposed comp plan amendment will also benefit the City of Star by expanding its commercial tax base, attracting new businesses, and creating local employment opportunities. Ultimately, this designation will support the city's long-term economic vitality while establishing an important gateway corridor into Star. So with that, I'd like to thank you, Mayor and council members, as well as staff for your time and consideration. And we would love to see the comp plan amended from rural residential to commercial for our our site. Thank you.
Thank you. You got any questions? Councilman Wheelock has a question for you.
Sure.
And this may be for you and for this lady that's presenting. Sorry, I forgot your name.
That's right. It's Sabrina.
What is it? Is C1? Does it matter at this point? Is it irrelevant?
I think we leave it at, Sean, we don't have to, I mean, we just designate it as a commercial and they can come back with the C1 or C2, depending on
We'll
what fits that area as it grows out,
Get
right?
to the specifics later then.
Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to verify so that we weren't approving something that we didn't want later.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Mayor, Councilmember Wheelock, I think the plan is just to have a general commercial designation, and then when we come in for annexation, we'll have a more thorough application for you to review.
Perfect.
Okay.
Cool. Ms. Jennifer, any questions for her? Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Ms. Jenna? Hi there.
Star Resident 10043, West Hercules Drive, Star, Idaho.
What's that what's that street name again?
Hercules.
Oh, Hercules.
Hercules.
I don't know what I
Hercules,
heard
yeah.
there. I'm like, wait a minute, that didn't sound
Nobody
right.
likes to follow Sabrina Durkee. I just want to say that first and foremost. She is a professional lady and I'm always impressed. Okay. Hi, friends. My name is Jenna England. I am the president of Berkeley Building, a longtime Star resident, and have been building homes in Star for nearly 20 years. I serve as vice president of the Idaho Home Builders Association for the state, and I am a past president of the Building Contractors Association of Southwestern Idaho, which is who I'm here representing this evening. You'll see our comment letter on page 240, the last page of your packet. I will be commenting first right now on 7A, and I'll be back up to join you for 7B. Let's see here. I'm here to focus specifically on the proposed code changes. Actually, that's the next one. Overall, I'm looking at page 369 R2 of your sheet there that discusses setbacks for garages.
So we got to do that one during the code.
Okay,
Yeah.
which one am I on?
We're on the comprehensive plan, probably on the level of service.
All right.
I know you guys.
All right, sorry, it's hard to read your okay. First, I want to thank you for city staff, Sean and Shelley and Mayor Chadwick, for your willingness to engage in conversations with our industry regarding the proposed code amendments and level of service ordinance. We all share the same goal: responsible growth, strong public service, and preserving the quality of life that makes Star such a great community. My concern tonight is not growth versus no growth, nor is it about avoiding standards. It is about ensuring that regulations are clear, that they're measurable, that they're predictable, and that we fully understand their impacts before they're adopted. Again, housing affordability is impacted not by one major decision. It is impacted by hundreds of small decisions that compound over time. Additional infrastructure requirements, longer timelines, added regulation all contribute to higher housing costs. As a community, it is important that we evaluate not only the intent of the regulation, but also its unintended consequences. We are absolutely even more concerned about the proposed level of service ordinance as it is written. We support the goal of ensuring public services keep pace with growth. However, as currently drafted, many of the standards and methodologies are not clearly defined. That was actually the case when we had these conversations, and Fire Marshal Victor Islas also joined us and wasn't sure how these would be enforced. How will level of service be measured based on today's conditions? Is it based on the anticipated service levels when a project begins, or based on full build-out years in the future? Will the compliance be measured within the project boundaries, a service district, or citywide? What mitigations may be required? How will it be calculated? And what costs will be assigned to applicants? These are not small details. They directly affect property values, project feasibility, financing, development costs, and ultimately housing affordability. Builders, developers, lenders, and property owners can adapt to strict standards. What is much more difficult is adapting to uncertainty or differing interpretations of those standards. Predictability is one of the most important tools available to maintain housing affordability. When requirements cannot be clearly identified at the beginning of the entitlement process, projects become harder to finance, harder to budget and harder to deliver, risk increases, timelines expands, and costs arise. I would encourage the city to resist the urge to move forward before these requirements are fully defined, measurable, and enforceable in a consistent manner. Adopting regulations before the details are fully worked out does not make anyone's job easier. In fact, it creates more challenges for applicants, staff, service providers, planning and zoning commissioners, and ultimately the council. The very parties these regulations are intended to help can instead face delays, uncertainty, and additional costs. Taking time to get it right in the front end will serve the city far better, trying to address unintended consequences after adoption. My concern is that we might be creating a framework to address exceptions without fully defining how it will be applied to the majority of projects moving forward through the system. For that reason, I respectfully urge the city to establish a stakeholder working group that includes staff, elected officials, service providers, engineers, developers, builders, and property owners to further refine these standards and create objective, measurable being important definitions before adoption. And that's my comment.
Okay,
There we go.
we'll talk more about that when we get to the code, where we're gonna, because it's gonna be part of the comp plan and the code.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out which part I was commenting on.
That's okay. We'll
Okay.
talk more about, you don't have to read it again though, because we already got it.
I got a whole other one for you.
Okay, all right. Any questions
Mayor Chadwick.
for Jenna?
Yeah, sure, why not? Put you on the spot. So I think it might be helpful if we just go through them all in the comprehensive plan right here, just to, and then let me just throw this
No, go
out there
ahead,
and
go
see what
ahead.
you think, if that's appropriate or not. And then maybe get your feedback if you have any issues with the comprehensive plan as it's written in here right now. Because we are talking about the comprehensive plan, only the comprehensive plan. And again, this is just a plan. It's not our laws, our ordinances. And so I would just, like your testimony was all about, majority of it was for the code itself. And so I just wanted to see if you have any specific comments for the comp plan level of service.
I think, so this is where I think if we adopt the code or the ordinance, whatever we adopt there, it needs to be transferred into the comprehensive plan too, to match. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to have one saying one thing and the other saying something else.
Well, my interpretation, like reading this, it's pretty general and it references the code or the ordinance. And so, which I think is appropriate. So then it's just in one place. So if we end up changing the code down the road, we don't have to come back and also change the comp plan. Would that,
Yeah,
Keep-
so before,
Keep in mind that your comprehensive plan is
Just the
just
plan.
establishing goals, policies.
Yep.
And implementation, but it suggests that you then go to your code and put that in.
okay, so.
right, so that's
As
where
law.
all those details
I'm gonna
would
hang there
be.
for a minute
Yeah.
while we talk about this, because if that's the case, then 11.1.1.4 specific to fire protection shouldn't be right there. If we're talking about level of service. Right? Because we don't have that built in for anything else that we're talking about up above when it talks about police departments, water and sewer districts, transportation, and EMS. For whatever reason in that section, we have just that one fire service called out. So if we're trying to keep it general, like
Right.
you're saying, it needs to be general, and then our code needs to define
So
the services, right? That's the welfare part.
So I think in our comprehensive plan, in our police section, we do call out a specific level of service.
We do in the police, and that would need to be moved to the fire. But if we're just talking about level of service in general for public services, it
Right, right.
probably needs to be more general.
Or take this out.
Or
put it
take
in
that.
Put it in that
That's what I'm
public.
saying.
In the
Put it
fire,
in the
So if you take
Fire
that part out, then the question I was going to just follow up with Ms. Jenna, based on that, on those 5 things, if you take that one out, what's the challenge with having that in the comprehensive plan, saying that this is what we're doing? Because the reason I
I
don't want to
don't
take that
have
out
time
is it
seeing
throws
that.
it off. I'm with you. I need it bigger so I can actually see it half the time.
We're good with that, as long as that's removed and we talk about the code then separately. Yes, agree.
So in general, if we were to take out 11.1.1.4, that's
Correct.
specific to fire districts,
Yes,
then the general statements that it's talking about on here,
the comprehensive
Are
plan.
appropriate,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
That you would
anyone-
support them.
I think that's where you're
Yes,
going,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And also, if anyone wants to know what 5 to 10 per acre and 3 per acre, the difference is, I'd be happy to share.
Do I know?
The question that came up earlier that no one had an answer for, multifamily and apartments isn't 5 to 10 per acre. Just reference to your comment
Well, it
earlier.
depends on what city you're in. For us, it might be.
I don't think so. Just to give an idea of housing, if you want more information on that, happy to provide it.
Yeah.
Can I expand on, can I go on that? Can I ask?
You can ask
Sorry,
that question all
sorry.
you want.
Well, yeah, I could ask it. So it probably doesn't matter. We'll go on.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'll tell you later.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So that is all that signed up to speak on the comprehensive plan and text amendments. Do you have any questions of staff at this point? I mean, I guess, Sean, will you give an overview of what you would like them to accomplish right now so they have a clue on what they're making a motion on? Right? That'll be good. Andy?
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilwoman?
so Sean, when do you hope to have these changes complete? So if we're approving a comp plan here tonight, but it's not done, what does that,
Well,
what is that, like, as new applications come in and it's not, maybe not done, what does,
No, it's, I think what he's saying it's done except for some of the graphs
oh,
and the data. So anything that's text related that is actual to what we wanted to talk about is on here for tonight, right?
Yeah,
And then you're asking to allow you to go back and just update the graphs and the data that's already established in
okay,
there.
okay.
that's why staff's recommending that you direct me to update those graphs after the fact. But you're going to approve tonight the specific text that staff has highlighted in your staff report, minus anything you want to remove, and then adopt the future land use map with the recommendations that staff has included, minus anything you want to remove. That's in a nutshell.
Yep,
That answer your question?
yep, that answers
That
my
answer your
question.
Kevin? So the things that I see that, before we let Sean go, is on the text, we need to remove that 11.1.1.4. That text as it's written now, remove that, then move up 11.1.1.5 to 11.1.1.4. Right? And then on the map, we're basically, if you guys agree with proving everything but number 9, we're going to take 9 out of that approval on the map. That's what I take from tonight, from what I wrote down from you guys, unless you have more.
No, I have nothing else. It is interesting, like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it because usually we have like a final draft to look at. And so this is a little bit different. But as I read through it, you know, like I didn't like see any other items that weren't complete, right?
You have the draft, yeah, with the red lines in there
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
changes
So-
in the text.
Yep.
The only thing you don't have is all the charts and stuff done that
Yep.
you're going to direct him to do.
Mr. Mayor, so staff will bring back a resolution that will have the updated map with the designations and then the text. So you'll get to see that as part of the resolution at on a future council agenda.
Okay.
That comes
Does that
back
help?
as a consent agenda kind of an item?
It's an action item, so it'll
Make it an
be,
action, have to read the resolution and
yeah,
approve it
you
as
read
an
the
action.
resolution, so you'll have a
Yeah.
chance to look at the exhibits at that time.
Okay. Councilman Wheelock, you got more, it looks like you got a question burning.
As I look at all the impacts, I'm generally happy and understand most of them. Just working through 8 and wanting to make sure that's not. I was just contemplating making sure it's not going more dense, it's going less dense.
It is
It is
going
going
less.
less dense, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to be clear about that in my own effort as I've wrestled with all that. I'm happy with everything that's happening. I just didn't, yeah. I had my questions answered earlier mostly.
Okay. Councilman Day, do you have anything?
No, Mr. Mayor, I concur with Councilman Wheelock. There's gonna be less density there, so yeah, I mean, I approve of these changes.
Okay. Anybody want,
Thank
yeah, more, okay, so it's then that's, any questions of staff or Chris? Hey, hearing, do you?
Yeah, Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman?
So in a motion, you are just wanting approval to, we're not adopting it tonight.
You're approving the comprehensive plan with the text amendments as written, minus the changes that you want to make.
Minus the 1.14.
11.1.1.4. And then directing staff to update the charts and the data points that are in there with the updated data. And then you're approving the comprehensive plan as written, except for number 9 will stay as it currently is.
On the land use map.
On the land use map. That's how I take it. That's all you're doing. And then it'll come back to a resolution, so you pass a resolution. If there's a conflict with it at that time, you can direct them to go back. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Anybody want to make a motion? Or, okay, are you done with staff? You done with staff? Yes? No, not yet. That's why I got to make sure they're done with staff. Okay, it is 8:27. I'm closing the public hearing and moving on to council deliberations and or motions. Or motions. Anybody?
Mayor Chadwick.
Yep.
I think that I'm satisfied with these changes. We talked it all through. I'm comfortable with it. I think that they make sense and they are bringing some past decisions that we've made. We're updating those past, bringing them into this current comp plan map, and then updating our data and some text and that. So I'm in support of it.
Want to make a motion?
Okay, sure. I will make a
There's only
motion.
two here.
Okay, to approve the future land use map as presented, minus number 9.
And I would just say that number 9 stays as is currently.
Yeah, stays as current. It's the only one on the map. And then also the comprehensive plan text itself, approve that with the changes to section 11.1.1.4 to delete that section, that item, and then to add.
I think we just need to clarify that it's about the fire district standards on that and move up 11.1.1.5 to 11.1.1.4. Did you get all that?
I don't think you need to, or staff will.
Or renumber accordingly.
Yeah, number it
Number
accordingly.
accordingly.
Right.
Okay, renumber it accordingly.
And then make sure,
I just want to make sure that that's clear.
and then make sure in your motion, you just adopt, you adopt the recommended changes that's within the staff report
Yes.
dated today's date.
That what you just said.
Recommended change in the staff report. Okay.
Yep, recommended changes in the staff report. And then also to add that one item in the, that I referenced, and yep, about the hazardous waste site in the future.
GG, right?
Yep. And that was in chapter 11. Um,
Right above the level of service.
yes.
Okay.
I think that was it. That is my motion.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion by Councilwoman Solomon, a second by Councilman Day, and I just want to be clear. I'm going to repeat it. You're okay with that, Sean? I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. That the motion was to adopt the comprehensive plan map as presented, except for number 9. Will stay as it's currently presented on the comprehensive plan map as low density estate rural residential, right? And then the comprehensive, adopt the comprehensive plan text amendments as presented by staff with the removal of 11.1.1.4 as it's written today, and then renumber that. And then add in what Ms. Jennifer was talking about on GG on the hazardous waste language in there, correct?
Yep.
And that was it, I believe. Right?
Yep.
Okay. We have a motion and a second by Councilman Day. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Day,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Solomon.
I
Yeah, that, I was waiting for Nielsen, sorry. And that motion carries 3-0 with 1 absent. And this will come back as a resolution to the council in a final form, in a final draft. Okay, all right. We're going to take a real quick break at 8:31. We're going to go 5 minutes. We'll come back at 8:37 actually, because it's 8:32. It is 8:38, and I'm going to call this council meeting back to order, and we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda. I have to find my agenda. Item 7B, the municipal code amendments, continued from our May 5th, 2026 date. It is 8:38. I'm going to open the public hearing on this code amendments and turn the time over to Sean.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Your next public hearing is for the municipal code amendment. City of Star is, staff is proposing these ordinance amendments per your direction, I guess. Like the last application, staff followed the requirements of the UDC regarding notification of agencies and stakeholders, legal notice publishing within the newspaper, and you did hold a city council workshop back in February of 2026. I'll go through the following sections that staff is presenting the revisions to. They include Title I. A new chapter 16 is being requested by Councilwoman Solmonson. That's included as Exhibit A within your staff report. Title VII, the building code, which is Exhibit B. Proposed construction without permit and penalty, proposed authorization of property owner, and Chapter 1, building codes regulations defined. Those were recommended by our building official. Title 8, which is the Unified Development Code and is Exhibit C within your packet. Chapter 1 includes annexation and the level of service requirements. Also, Chapter 1 includes definitions. We've added and cleaned up some definitions within that section. Chapter 3 includes the Central Business District Visioning Plan areas that were recently adopted. Uses within the zoning district additions and revisions, and adding the Central Business District visioning areas. Zoning district dimensional standards, specifically the main change was the 25-foot garage setback and reduction of the rear setback. The prohibition in the central business district of the drive-through restaurants and multifamily residential complexes. Chapter 4, addressing address numbering, and that was recommended by the fire district by Victor. Also in chapter 4 is outdoor lighting, parking standards, construction site standards, and private street standards that were, we had some minor revisions to that. Chapter 5 also updates the accessory dwelling unit, the ADU, basically the title. Staff had originally called it secondary dwelling unit. So we're going back to the accessory dwelling unit to be consistent with everybody else. Also included Exhibit D was the level of service ordinance provided by Council Member Nielsen. Exhibit E in your packet was Title 10, which is the flood ordinance that was provided information from your city engineer. Exhibit F was the new residential rental registration ordinance. Also proposed by Councilmember Nielsen. And finally, the unauthorized sign ordinance, which was Exhibit G, which I believe we've tabled.
Yeah, F and G are been
F and G.
tabled.
So those
until
two.
The August 18th meeting.
And again, within the staff report, staff has had broken down by exhibit the different proposed sections. For example, Exhibit A is the advisory committee ordinance provided by Councilwoman Fulmanson.
So we're tabling the sign and the rental?
Correct. We tabled those at the beginning of the meeting. Yep. Until the 18th. Yep.
Verifying. When you're going over it, it makes you wonder.
Yep. Well, he's not going to talk about them now. So.
Yeah.
As part of the passing through, I wanted to verify.
So again, a lot of red lines in your code. I don't, unless you want to go over those. If you have questions on those, I'll just stand for any questions you may
I'm
have.
just going to run down the thing with the council real quick. So the first section on here is the advisory committees ordinance. Is there any questions on that whole new ordinance there about our advisory committees?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Councilman Wheelock.
Are we limiting it to those 3 subjects?
No.
It is in this
Oh, you mean those
section. It does not-
three advisory committees?
It does not,
Correct.
it does not include the impact fee committee, which is referenced elsewhere in the
Or the
code.
design review or any of that
Right,
other stuff?
right.
Those 3 committees is all we're talking about
Yep.
here.
Correct.
Then I'm good.
And that's what that letter
Yeah,
A
I just wanted to,
through
as
A. Yep.
long as we're limiting it to that, I'm good.
And it talks about where those folks live.
Have to-
The committees have to have,
Length of service, all of that.
And this is all based off of the committee handbook that we already approved.
correct. There's a lot of that information in there.
Yeah,
On that.
yeah.
Yep.
And it talks about ethics, public records and conduct. So we codify everything that's Idaho Public Records Act. They have to follow the Idaho Open Meeting Law, all that kind of stuff. So it's all there, right? Councilman Day, do you have any questions on that?
No, I'm in complete agreement with it.
Okay. So then we go to Exhibit B, Building Code. So let me write A is good. B on the Building Code. Any questions on that? Sean, did you want to talk anything specific about those?
I do not.
Nothing specific?
So
And these came from
And-
Kevin Pitt, our building official.
And we talked about these in our workshop also. So, yeah, just want to state that.
Yeah, nothing has changed from that last workshop on this exhibit.
Okay,
where you at?
I'm gonna go
What
down.
page are you on?
Oh, I don't know what, so down that, so I'm
Your top left. 3, what? 360.
I'm rolling down past, going to the next section here. Hang on a sec. I'm at, let's see. Nope, nothing there, nothing there. Item Exhibit C is on page 376. Annexation, zoning, and rezone, where it has some new terms defined with agricultural structure, arts, entertainment. Took out some wording, health and fitness clubs, residential parking, special parking districts, which is what we've kind of dealt with already. Zoning and our visioning plan area. And then our uses within the zoning districts, where we have some conditional uses permitted and some that are accessory conditional uses that have been established in there.
Wow, sorry.
Can we look at the terms defined in the agricultural structure?
Yep. Sean, you ready?
8-1-E-1 terms defined.
Okay.
Agricultural structure means any building or structure which is solely built for farming or ranching uses. The term agricultural structure includes, but is not limited to barns, windbreaks, silos. Agricultural structure shall not be used as accessory structure, shall not store personal items other than agricultural purposes. The structure must be located on a single parcel of land more than 5 acres. Why do we have a more than 5 acres requirement?
I believe, doesn't state code define ag as 5 acres and more?
They recognize my 3.5 acres as ag if I qualify every year.
They do recognize it? as
They
ag?
do.
Yeah, well, you're probably,
Grandfathered?
yeah.
Nope. I have to qualify every year. They don't grandfather me at my size.
But I don't know that they would take you, unless you're doing something different. I don't know that they, I think you have to qualify each year, like this, you're talking about like for tax purposes. Yes, that's a use more than the size, because you get lower valuation if it's an ag property versus, I think that's what you're doing, but I may not.
The structure that I have, that I call my barn, is an ag structure on less than 5 acres and wouldn't qualify today according to this. And it did 5 years ago.
Yeah, well, this is just a zoning definition, right, which is different than what you're doing with the county. So the city is saying that it's a building or structure that's used solely for farming, right? And it must be located on a single parcel of land more than 5 acres. So that's the city's definition. So you'd be grandfathered in unless you wanted, you were going to build another one and say, well, this is also an ag building, then maybe there'd be a conversation. But what the city is saying, if you want to fit this definition of agricultural structure under the new code, starting the day the code's approved, then that's the definition that's going to apply for city zoning purposes.
So Kevin, was yours built back, how long was yours built?
2017.
It was that before you,
I incorporated
property?
in 2002.
when did you split off part of your land?
2002.
2002, okay. So you didn't get a building permit on that because it was an ag structure.
I did not, and I called 17 times worried about it.
Yeah.
So his question, I guess, is why the 5 acres? That's his question.
Yeah, I believe, I'm sure the 5 acres is there because that's what the county recognizes as a ag exemption for a farm, 5 acres or greater. It's something we can, you can take out. Again, that's the county definition of a farm.
My cows would disagree, but
Again, that's
I mean, is it necessary to have the 5 acres in there?
it's your code. You can add.
I mean, we have,
I think
So-
you'd want some size identified so that somebody doesn't just put something on an acre and say,
Right.
this is my ag structure. Right?
we
So
have a
we
lot of
need to
2
have-
acre parcels here in town.
See an ag structure as opposed to a accessory structure. Obviously, an accessory structure has to be an accessory to something, to where an ag structure doesn't. And so that's why it specifically says in the definition that no personal storage of property, because that's an accessory structure which needs a house to be accessory to.
It's where I store my personal commuter.
But as far as the size, that's just something that was,
All right, well, let's noodle that a little bit. Let's think about that as we move on.
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman?
And so I don't see that item in the zoning district use table. Maybe I'm missing it. Should it be in that table? Or no?
no, because it doesn't require any type of approval. All it requires is a zoning certificate so we can verify the setbacks. But it doesn't require a building permit or any type of council approval or staff approval which is why we want to make sure we have a good definition. Okay, good definition in there so we can regulate that.
Okay.
As I look at what we just agreed to down Third and Frost and those areas, there's still some parcels that are under 5 acres that would qualify for a building or an ag structure of some kind that I think I don't want to limit them for that reason. We just said, have an open space farm a little bit here and there. And then now we're limiting that.
But
By
you gotta
making
have.
them go through a whole
but you gotta have
process.
You gotta have some sort of acreage though for that, because otherwise.
There's goats right across the street from Denise right here.
But are they on an acre?
They're on 2 acres, I think.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You need to have something like that, otherwise they won't qualify for ag.
Well, but yeah, I agree. 2 acres or whatever. Let's say there's a size, but under 5 is too small
Mayor,
Or 5.
or over 5.
so on the Ada County website, it states that in order to qualify for an ag exemption, it has to be 5 contiguous acres. If you're less than 5 contiguous acres, there are requirements that you have to do in order to qualify for your ag exemption. But that's for the exemption piece. So the 5 is set by the county.
Well, state by state statute through the county, I think, right? But because his was done so long ago, because that changed recently.
Well, and I think what Ryan is saying is if you're over 5, you don't have to annually
Correct.
file anything with the county
Oh.
because you're ag and you get the tax exemption. If you're less than 5, you go through what Councilman Wheelock's going through every year and saying it's still ag, and so tax me as an ag property or assess me as an ag property, right? And so, or get the exemption. And so so there are different kind of conversations. I think the 5 acres is used because it's consistent with what the state kind of uses as, even on the annexation rules, 5-acre lots that are ag. And so it's kind of a common sized, but I don't know that the city has to be tied to 5 acres if it wanted to do something different.
I'm thinking then the structure must be located on a single parcel of land designated as agriculture through the county or that. That just opens it up for any, I mean, if it's
2 acre. Designated as ag and provable, it doesn't need a size, in my opinion.
I think that would work. I'm just trying to think through what would happen if, say, Councilman Wheelock, I mean to pick on you, but does not get the exemption 1 year. Then does that building now become,
I think at the time of the building,
yeah,
it has to be designated as ag at
it
the
would
time
just
of the
stay that
building.
way, regardless of whether the exemption continued.
So the other argument is we allow horses on certain size properties. So if you wanted to build a barn for your horse, there's horses that are definitely on properties that are less than 5 acres in size. So if you did build a barn, you wouldn't be able to do it under an ag structure. You could do it under an accessory structure. But as it's written here, you wouldn't because it has that 5-acre limitation. So I think as council is stating, this is strictly a city requirement that you can modify if you choose. Because the city is not going to determine what is ag exempt or not. That's the key. The county is going to do that. You have to go through that as a separate requirement. And then they've got the 5 acres or more, which is a separate designation. So again, we're not making that, the city's not making that decision on what's ag exempt and what's not. We're just trying to We're trying to lock in what an ag structure is and put some requirements on it.
Okay,
What if we change that language to be a single parcel of land qualified by the county as ag?
is that enforceable? That's, I mean, you can verify that. Chris?
Yeah, because I think it would be something we would probably check as part of the zoning certification. And so the city has a,
Is your
But-
microphone on?
yes.
There we go.
But we can use, when we're doing the zoning certification process, the city could use that opportunity to verify that county certification. We may want to add language that it's just clear that it's when the structure is built. That's when the decision is made, which is normally done anyway at the certification stage, the zoning certificate stage. So I think we can make that work.
Okay. Well, that's just the first section on here. Okay. So we have an idea for that one then, Sean?
If you can give staff your sentence that you used again, one of you.
I think basically we're saying, the structure must be located on a single parcel of land and designated as ag by the county.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions on that section there? Anywhere in there? Oh, you wanted to look at accessory or the uses? Did somebody say that?
No, I just said that that item is not in our uses. So
Any questions on the zoning district uses as they're presented by staff on here?
Again, these were presented to you at your workshop. The changes since then are obviously the breakdown of the central business district uses based on the 5 districts that we created within the central business district. So that is what you have in front of you right now. So we're obviously keeping the central business district designation, but then we're adding the 5 distinct districts within the central business district and defining those uses.
Okay, CBD Village, Art, River, State Street and Star Road, right?
And just for reference, these follow the text of the visioning plan that we presented to you a few months ago, as far as what the intent of each of those districts were, as far as intensity of uses. So obviously, like the art district, for example, would have more restrictions on compatible uses than, let's say, the State Street district or the Star Road district that would have more highway uses.
All right, any questions on that section? Okay, and then we come down here to the setbacks. John, you want to talk about those real quick?
Yeah. One of the council members had concerns about the garage setbacks in the community. And so staff has proposed or has put in what was recommended, and that was that 25-foot front setback from the edge of sidewalk to the face of the garage to allow for proper parking of large vehicles within the confines of the driveway and not extending out within the sidewalk area. And then as kind of a compromise, staff has also included a reduction in the rear setback from 15 to 10 to try to compensate for that loss of area.
thank you, Sean, for doing that. I like the compromise that we have there. And then, so the face of the living space, so that was reduced to 5 foot. And then,
Yeah, the livable space can still encroach within 15 feet
right,
of the front setback.
yep.
It's just that garage.
but
it's
just
just
the
that
garage is extended to the 25.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions on that one? Councilman Wheelock? Kinda, maybe? Okay. All right.
Still can't get his crane in there.
Yeah, I can't park anything I drive there, so it's fine.
No, you don't qualify. You're on an ag property anyway. Okay, move to the CBD district standards. Sean? This is on page 395.
Yes, if you're looking at it, the compromise is adjusting the parking back, but adjusting the depth in the back of the lot keeps everything that we've already approved in the same building frame. Is that why that's the
I think-
case?
Yes.
Yeah, correct.
To try to not,
Well, but the current things that have already been adopted for setbacks are going to stay that way at 20. It's the new stuff that comes in that'll be 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it allows that footprint of those residents. Some of the argument is on the back, then it takes away from your patios. Because now you've got your patios are going to be smaller when you have that rear setback, stuff like that. So,
they're all too small for me, so I agree.
okay. Sean, Central Business District standards.
Yes, Mayor?
Do you want to talk to any of that?
I don't.
No.
Uh,
So basically, we're saying drive-through establishments are not going to be permitted within the designated downtown revitalization plan of the CBD district, as may be further adopted by council in the future. Multifamily apartment developments are prohibited with the CBD district unless a part of a multi-use building is defined. That's the two big things on that, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then address numbering on that. This came from Victor, right?
Yes.
Oh, he's not here tonight.
Mayor, I want to comment on the CBD drive-through thing real quick. I just want to make sure that as we contemplate that we understand that where we're pushing drive-throughs to, and that we're all on the same page with that. Because we just had an application come through that we were pushing drive-throughs into those areas. So we need to all make sure that we fully are aware of what we're doing, so that if we do have another application come through, that everybody's in agreement that we now are telling drive-throughs, you're not in the CBD, you're outside of that area.
And that obviously is not a guarantee anyway. That's going to be a discussion.
Not a
on what they-
guarantee,
but
but
yeah.
that's what we're doing.
Okay. You guys got that? We're not going to allow drive-throughs in the CBD, so they're going to be in the other commercial zones on the outside. That's where you're going to see them come in, but you still have to approve them anyway.
But
They still are
CUPs
conditionally
anyway.
approved, correct?
But Mr.
They're still conditionally
Yeah, they're
approved,
still
correct?
CUPs, yeah.
But Mr. Mayor and Council, if you look at your downtown area and you look at the central business district and then the individual districts, you'll notice that there really aren't a whole lot of places that you can even have drive-throughs anymore. The lots and parcels are either too small, or in the case of Star Road and the future widening, I don't think you're going to want drive-throughs along Star Road and vehicles entering and exiting that what's going to be a major highway with a drive-through use. So while Mr. Field is correct that we are spreading those out to those outskirts, I think that's where you have your centers that are more able to accommodate those type of uses than in your downtown.
And so the CBD does go all the way to Canada. And
It does, yes, it does. But all the properties that are out there have already been
Entitled
and
okay,
yeah,
okay.
with a number that they're allowed.
yeah.
Okay, any more questions on that? No? Okay, and then we go down to the address numbering by Victor. Any questions on that, on what he's doing? He's just following I think he's following the
Fire code.
fire code.
Yeah.
I'm putting that in there. Outdoor lighting,
Mr. Mayor, we did bring in our actual standards within the code. So there's no arguments or confusion about what we expect to have in the subdivisions and along our main arterials as far as streetlights.
oh, for outdoor lighting?
Yes,
Okay, all right.
that's what that is.
So we brought our standards in the code now based on what we've been adopting on there. Okay. Parking standards, one-way drive aisles as determined by the fire district.
And then adopting the 26-foot
Adopting
aisles.
6 feet.
That's all. Those are both per recommendations of the fire district.
Question?
Mayor Chadwick, so I know like during our workshop, we discussed increasing the parking requirement for churches. Currently, our code is 1 per 5 seats. Did you make that change into this version, or did it not get included?
It did not get
Not
included.
changed. I think we
Okay.
need to have a more in-depth discussion about parking in all the districts.
My recommendation is that the city hire a consultant to completely redo the parking and the sign ordinance.
Okay,
It's just, they're both very
Not-
outdated, and I think
okay.
it needs to be looked at as a whole. Because if you look at I believe if you look at most of the sections I've added that, especially when they're conditional use permits, which all churches and a lot of the like event centers and health clubs and things like that, it gives the council the ability to look at those parking numbers and add those when necessary.
okay.
But
So
it's
if
not an immediate concern.
yeah,
It's just
but if
something-
we have a project come in that is a church and we can add that condition to
Yes.
require
Yeah.
more parking
Mhm.
at that time.
Yep.
Okay. Yep, got it.
Okay. We are down to off-street parking. I don't think that's pretty self-explanatory, I believe, for ADA stalls. Staging, see, standards for construction sites and staging areas for infrastructure improvements. Emergency access easements. Again, we talked about drive-through establishments, kind of further defines that there. Multifamily dwellings. Let me go to item D. This is the one that I think Jen is going to come talk to here in a minute. Exhibit D on level of service. Talks about our fire emergency response times of 5 minutes or less, the surge rating of 4 or better. Huh? Okay. Police response times, potable water, wastewater treatment, where it talks about Star Sewer Water may advise the council if development cannot be served by the district. Transportation network, level of C or level of D or better. And then I think, Sean, did you want to talk about some of that on what we did? Did we say may or something like that in there? Change some wording? Trying to find it here. I thought we did.
I think that was in the comp plan.
Huh?
I think that was in the comp plan
Comp plan?
wording.
Thought we did something here where it's more mays. We'll need to discuss some of the shalls and what, like, 'cause shalls is very definitive and doesn't give you much option.
Mr. Mayor, I think like, for example, C, agency certification. I think we wanted to reword that slightly to a may. Each application may be required to include a letter of or equivalent documentation. There's a lot of service providers that just won't provide.
Right. There's no
letters
way
and-
they can
and-
get a letter. So if you say
Right.
shall.
So we do not want to
Right.
handcuff the development community to make them get letters for every single. But a may gives us the ability to say, okay, you got to get ACHD, ITD, you got to get the main ones. Depending on what irrigation district it is, you possibly could require that, but it just leaves it more open for them to work with staff on the ones that are necessary, as opposed to having every single service provider provide a letter.
And then I think some of the other shalls were changed to mays in there too, though.
Yeah, if you look at F.
F and E and D, the council may deny the application, defer instead of shall. It gives you the authority to make a decision one way or the other versus the ultimate authority of saying no. Chris?
Just a question on C, because I think it happens occasionally. What if an applicant can't get a letter from the service provider?
That's what we're saying. We're going to change that to a may. Each application may be required to provide the letter.
Well, I'm just wondering if we need to have, seeing if we require it, if they can't get it, are we just saying the application is dead?
If we say shall, you mean?
Well, I mean, so I'm just trying to figure out where the may, because I think it's okay to say you need to get a letter. I'm just wondering if we need to, instead of saying may, where it looks like sometimes the city might ask for a letter, sometimes the city may not. I'm wondering if we're going to request a letter, but have a caveat on there that the agency or the service provider won't provide it. Kind of, if it's not their fault, they can't get it, that we would still move forward. Or the application could still move forward, if that makes sense. There are times where where an agency is really slow, which has happened before. I'm just wondering how much we
want the letters.
And we already have that kind of built into our agency transmittal. We say right on there, if they don't provide us with a response within a certain amount of time, then it's considered no comment.
Yeah, well, and that's why I'm thinking maybe we just need to include kind of that language in C. Because the way C is, written now, it says they have to have it no matter what, right? If we change it to may, it may actually create too much flexibility, because some applications, we'd always want to get the level of service, but first saying, well, we don't have, we're not going to make you do it, but we're going to make you do it. That can create some challenges.
So maybe rewrite C more in line with what our transmittal language is.
That's what
where it gives a certain amount of time that an agency or provider needs to respond, a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
I think right now we have 30-day response time.
I just want to make sure we're not, I want to make sure we're uniform with all the I realize that large applications, it may be more important to get a letter than a smaller application. But I don't want the city to get in a position where we're kind of picking and choosing who has to, complete which step. But I also don't want the applicant to be held up if the service provider is slow or just doesn't want to send a letter.
Okay. All right. So I'm writing that down. Okay. Any other questions or comments on the level of service?
Wait.
Okay, you're gonna wait,
Here
see
for
what
the-
we
yeah.
hear. Exhibit E.
That's on there on the
Oh, E
operating
and F
side,
then are
so
done, right?
we're getting those tabled.
Okay, E and F we're not listening to, so we just got A, B, C, and D, right? Okay, Sean, Ryan? do you have
We
the
also,
list?
hold on, Mr. Mayor. Yep, that's it.
Yep. Ryan Field, do you have the list? Can I please have it? No? He does. All right, we'll have Mr. Michael Keys come up.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, honorable councilors. My name is Michael Keys. I live at 338 South Long Bay Way here in Star. It was interesting listening to your treasurer give your report earlier. Mayor Chadwick, you'll remember back in 2017 and earlier, the entire city budget was 2.5 pages and it was on a 3rd generation PDF photocopy. We have come a long way. Star's grown up. And that's really what I want to talk about. I really appreciate and admire the process tonight. I was involved in the first major overhaul of our comprehensive plan and our city code back in the 18, 19, 20 timeframe. And I'm so happy that the city's continuing down that road and making things better. During my time on the council, I really just have one major regret, and that was that I did not understand that it was within our police powers to place limits on formula businesses, formula restaurants and formula businesses. And I'm really happy to see what you're doing with drive-through restaurants, but or drive-throughs in general, but I'd like to potentially ask the city to contemplate doing that with formula businesses. And I'd like to paint a picture here. So if you drive through Garden City down Chinden and you see what that looks like, and you drive down Meridian Road down through Meridian, and you drive through Fairview in Boise, and you get a picture and you see all these chain restaurants and chain businesses. And then you drive through the main drag in McCall and the main drag in Sun Valley and Old State Street in the city of Eagle, and you don't see those things. And what environment do we want to build? And if I had to say today, if I was on a council, I would steer us way more towards the last three environments than the first three. And I think that this is the process we have to do that. And I drafted an ordinance, probably a year after I left the council, and showed it to a few councilors, and nobody really seemed very interested in it at the time. But it was about limiting the number of formula businesses. And I'm going to give you guys a copy of that I wrote, those years ago, because I think that the city's now ready to do that. You're actually showing that you're ready to do that by limiting drive-through restaurants and making other changes to the plan. And I know there's always been a conversation about it. Well, we don't really, want to, choose what businesses can come and go. And this doesn't necessarily do that, because you're already kind of doing what this does. You can say this can apply here. This can apply in the central business district. This can apply in the area of the south of the river plan, other than our commercial, defined areas along our state highway, along Highway 16 and Highway 2026. And by doing that, I think that we can create, my vision was always 50 years, can create a place that is special in the Treasure Valley and help Star retain its unique character by actually creating the rules to provide for a unique character, rather than, looking like, Chinden and Garden City and Fairview and Boise and these other, kind of main draggy, areas. And I think we can do something special. So again, I admire what you're doing, and I appreciate all of you guys. I know it's not an easy job, and I know the hours you guys put in, and I'd like to hand these out to you guys if I could. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman?
So I do remember seeing this that you gave to me soon after I was elected. And, now that we have that downtown visioning plan, it might be, I'm glad you brought it back, brought it back, and I will look at it again. So thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Michael. Ms. Denise, do you want to, where you at? There you are.
Denise Van Doren, 11123 West Frost Street. I didn't have like a comment, but I need some clarification. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, on the uses, I'm going to rip through these. The one thing was the financial institution, and I'm looking specifically at the arts district.
On the CBD
Probably not a
arts.
surprise, yeah.
Okay.
So it is a P, which is principal, which means it just sails through, right? Permitted, basically. P.
It goes through the design review and then through the CZ application. It just doesn't come up to the council for approval.
No,
That's
no,
what a P
I'm
is.
looking at the uses.
Right. That's what a P is, though.
It's a permitted use.
It's a permitted use.
Right, that's what yeah.
Well, when you said it sails through, it doesn't, I mean, I'm just trying to clarify what sails through means.
Oh, okay, so,
It goes through a design review process. It goes to the certificate of zoning compliance.
but it's a permitted use.
It's a permitted use, correct.
Okay,
It just doesn't
so
come back through.
It doesn't come to
council.
the council.
Provided they follow the building codes.
Right.
and- Yes.
Correct.
okay. So, but I guess my question, and Sean and I have talked about this, but I just thought about it. That would be a no drive-through bank, right?
Correct.
So I'm going to ask that we could maybe put an N on that, because I just don't know that we need another bank or financial institution, particularly in the arts district. So that's just kind of a nitpicky thing, but
So you're saying an N just in the art district,
N means no. N for no.
but just in the art district?
Correct. That's the only one I'm focusing on
Okay, gotcha.
because I live there.
Just want to make certain.
Go figure, I know. And then also just on this, and Sean, bless his heart, has tried to explain this to me, but I need further clarification. When you look above that, and it's the, once again, I'm on uses, single family attached, no, single family detached, no. But then we go down and it says live, work, multi-use, and that is a conditional use.
Mhm.
So I guess I don't understand in this CBD is, so what is allowed? If it's, there's no residences and then it's going to be a conditional use for live work. I thought the whole idea of the CBD was the live work. Is it because you need to like prove the plan on it or?
So most of the properties in the art district, with the exception of the first block off State Street, is zoned residential, and most of them have houses. So those are allowed to stay. What this prevents is this, by establishing a central business district, prevents someone from rezoning that or upzoning it to a higher density. So the live work is kind of what we want to allow new residential to develop as live work. It's just a conditional use permit that comes to council for approval.
I guess that's but what I need to know is, so I understand on the residential that I was clear on that you really, that's not really the purpose, but the live work was.
Correct.
It's-
And it's in.
CBD, am I correct?
Yes, and it's in there.
Okay. So does this mean then that if somebody has a lot in the arts district and wants to build something, then regardless, it's going to have to go through a conditional use, provided it's a live work.
If it's a live work, yeah.
Right. And if it's a single family residential.
Right.
Right. Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure I was really clear on that. And then one more thing, really quick, is on the
Well, I just want to interject something. If you have the residential zone, you can still build a residence.
it has not been officially zoned.
Or if someone wants to tear down their house and rebuild it, they can, as long as you have a residential zone, we can't take away, unless the council wants to rezone the entire district, which I don't think they want to do. So what this does is that designate this as central business district. If someone wants to rezone, they have to rezone it to central business district. And then we're saying that you can't do
Okay. So
residence unless it's live work. So if you wanted to tear down your house, we would make you put an office there. You could rebuild your house. Or if the house burns down, it's still a conforming use and you can rebuild it because you have that underlying residential zone. So I just want to make it clear that.
thank you. And then on the dimensional standards, it says the zoning district, the list here, it's got A and then RR, R1, R2. What is A?
That's the access or agriculture.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Okay, so but I didn't see anything for CBD there on that list. Is there,
I think this is all relating to residential.
okay.
On
Is
this,
there
on
going to
A3, A4, our changes on this was related to residential side to make those 25-foot driveways.
Yeah, in other words, we didn't change the setbacks for CBD. There's still
CBD or
there's still
commercial
zero
or
lot
mixed use
line.
or any of that.
Okay,
Yeah.
it'll be a different thing. Okay.
Yep.
So, all right. Then I am now finished and I appreciate. I had lots, but I pared it down.
Okay.
It's getting late.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Denise?
Appreciate it.
And just for the record, Denise has been So good to work, so good, so annoying. I wish she'd leave. She has been so great to work with. She's helped through the entire Central Business District process and you are appreciated. So thanks. And my office is always open for you to come in and talk.
Perfect. All right. Miss Jenna, you got the right paper?
Don't start me off for crying out loud. All right. And I will say Denise is lovely to work with. I used to work with her all the time. Yeah. Okay. I know everyone in this room. Look
That's
at
right.
that. It's what happens when you live here a while.
Yeah.
I'm specifically
Do your name and address again, since we're on this one.
Jenna England, 10043 West Hercules Drive, Star. Okay.
I got the Hercules this time.
Hercules. All right. I'm specifically here to comment on two items. The driveway setbacks at 25 feet, as well as the level of service portion of the comment. I don't know how much you want me to repeat based on the comments I already made regarding level of service. But I'll start with some notes on the setback. It might appear to be a relatively small change, the 25 going from 20 feet to 25 feet in driveway length, but it affects lot design, it affects home placement, it greatly affects backyard usability as set, patio opportunities based on design and where patios are allowed to be, driveway cost, concrete is incredibly expensive, and in some cases, overall yield and efficiency of development. I've stated in this room several times, for every $1,000 you add, there's $1,000 people that can't afford a home in our area. And driveway, just those 5 feet, costs well in excess of $1,000, plus all the additional front landscaping when you're trying to build attainable housing. Most home buyers are not asking for longer driveways. I give people the option. Nobody puts their money there. That is not something they, your constituents choose when given that possibility. What they do ask for is usable backyards, functional living space, and a home they can afford. From my understanding, this is proposed to address situations where larger vehicles, such as long bed trucks, may occasionally extend into pedestrian areas. While I do understand that concern, I question whether creating a requirement that affects every lot, every home, every future development is the right solution for what appears to be a relatively limited issue when affordable housing is an issue for everybody. I know that the home builders that I represent are very much against this change to 25 feet, so I ask that you reconsider.
I'm going to go back. I'm going to ask you some questions now.
All right.
So what's your solution to our problem? So as a home,
I would
as a home
equally
builder
say,
group, what's the solution to our issue with our sidewalks being overtaken by vehicles and not being able to maneuver around them?
I mean, you could say that in regard to anything that shows up in people's front yards that I can't control. I would say also, though, the amount that happens in direct reflection to the amount of affordable housing and how it will affect future home builders and the way that we provide product. It really is like there's no direct answer. We did discuss when we met that long bed trucks at max are 22 feet, and I asked for a reconsideration at 22 feet instead of 25. Any of those incremental amounts make a big difference in the cost of a home and our ability, but it does affect the product that we're able to provide and a number of builders who have created product to fit those size lots. Additionally, a question that we have in regards to this is when it's implemented. Is this going to be implemented when? For what developments that are?
Maybe the new plats is what we talked about on their correction.
I would ask for a delay in that regard then if it's
What?
not. I would ask then for a delay because all of this product type and these projects in place have already been designed for 20-foot driveways and for product type that is already that way. So it's just a delayed implementation if it is going to be not considered to be removed. Does that make sense? So like, let's say they're in process, you've had engineering for your specific project
Are you
type.
talking stuff that's been filed with the city already or stuff that you're working on to file with the city?
Things that people are working on. I mean, just a delayed implementation to give people time to reconsider.
So projects that you haven't presented yet and that
This isn't, I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
no.
representing a
But I'm
number of
trying to
people.
understand that because it's the same question. You want us to delay for how long? I guess, give us a solution on that, right? I mean, what does that mean? What
My
does that
solution
delay
is don't change what's not been broken for a long time. But
Well, but that's not, but see, we gotta adjust, we gotta, my thing is as the building community, we've known that we've had this out there for a while. What is the solution for us to address this? If it's a delay, what does that delay mean? What does that look like? How many months is that? 1 month, 2 months? You know, obviously, if it's for applications that have already been filed, it wouldn't apply to that because those have been filed.
Mhm.
So what's fair to the city to address a problem and fair to you guys as far as timing? That's what I'm trying to figure out, because if you ask me to delay, what does that mean?
I think the same question goes into consideration when we're looking at code enforcement. It's the unpredictability and the amount of money that everyone already has tied in. That's what makes it hard when these changes that are large and affect large investment projects. It's hard to like determine because there's projects that you might not have seen that have been being worked on for 18 months. So it's difficult to give you a number that's going to satisfy all. I would just consider, ask that you consider delaying the implementation if you decide that you must go forward with 25 feet. And additionally, the consideration of 22 feet being what is a long bed truck. Those are all things that we ask that you reconsider because it does really have large implications on how projects are developed. The product that we already have, every builders already have developed for as it stands.
So for the long bed truck, so that is 22 foot. And is that, if they're parked up touching the garage, then they are then at the base of the back of the sidewalk? Is that, if it was 22 foot, is that correct? They have to be pushed up all the way touching the garage if it was 22 foot. Is that right?
I mean,
Technically?
I guess, yeah. I would also, I mean, I live in a neighborhood where I don't see anyone not,
But
you
you
know.
also, there's a number of, like, a lot of the houses have 3-car garages. And so they might have a deeper spot for those longer trucks. But some of the, like, American Homes, is that the neighborhood? And I don't know if it's other neighborhoods of theirs.
Springfield is the same.
Yeah. They're two-car driveway, and they have 4 vehicles, and 2 of them are out on the street, and then 2 of them are in the driveway, and they're out into the sidewalk. And so, like, how do we fix that from preventing in the future?
So are you saying that requiring 25-foot driveways is going to fix 4 cars that are sitting in a
It keeps the
It would
sidewalk
keep
clear.
yeah,
That's the goal.
It would keep those longer
100%.
vehicles, right, in out of the sidewalk. Yeah. Mhm.
I would just argue that those are like small instances in comparison to the overall housing and affordability crisis. So, I mean, you can't win all things.
No, I know, you can't win all things. You can't win all things either, right?
And I for sure don't.
I
Right,
get that,
right.
but
Yeah.
we're
It's tough
trying,
because then it's like, well, build a smaller house, too. So, yeah.
You won't approve the lots for allowing me to build a smaller house on those lots. I
They're-
mean, there's challenges all the ways
The
away.
lots are awful small here in Star. I get that.
Yeah, and
But you're just building a nicer product on a smaller house, on a smaller lot. It's, when affordability still has granite countertops, the argument's both directions.
I mean, we could go around this, but also when you require
People are still
open
buying.
space and parks and impact fees and requirements of how we finish them on the outside, so your community still looks beautiful. All those things that are required, at some point your house gets so expensive, you have to add certain things to be able to justify the price we have to charge to be able
Right,
to
and
do
so
those things. But
the-
the things that are implemented that aren't a choice, you take that away from.
but we're also
giving us
trying to
that
establish a community that's going to look good in 50, 100 years down the future instead of an all stack and pack mentality. And that's what I can tell you right now, the council doesn't want.
No, I
Right.
understand that.
And so that's gonna create, it creates challenges, but affordability in Star went away 5 years ago. I don't care what anybody says. When we talk affordability, the reality is even with the smaller lots that we had, those things are still selling for $500,000. It ain't affordable to my kids. It ain't affordable to your kid, daughter, right now. So adding 5 foot of sidewalk to make it walkable at least around the neighborhood, I don't think is an issue. Not sidewalk, but a driveway is
I
not
could
really.
argue and sit with books and show you all the ways that it does make a huge difference, including just decisions you've made earlier today regarding if you're going from 5 to 10 to 3. All those make decisions on whether affordability is possible. I can give you many examples of houses that I can build in the $400,000 range, but decisions you're making here, the low 400s, which is affordable for our community based off of
It ain't affordable for a mayor.
average income for the city of Star is $95,000, is
I
it
get
not?
it.
Yeah. So times that by 4 and you try to hit within the 20% of that, 400 and some thousand, low 400s is considered affordable for our community, but I cannot build at that with the decisions you're making here, and all these things add up. It would be one thing if it was just this, but it's one thing after the other. And I get it. We're all trying to solve a problem, but that's just my take on.
Well,
Can't.
but hang on, Michael.
You're talking to two
You sat up here, so be quiet. You know you can't speak.
Yeah, and that's just one thing. Okay, I've already run out of time, and we also need.
We're having a conversation, so the time doesn't matter.
All right.
you know, So that's okay.
It's one lady I don't know here. I don't want to ruin all her day. So.
No, you're okay.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying on that. So,
It is the combination of all things and every decision, and it does have a lasting impact on. And I mean, we're all proponents of being able to hire fire and police and teachers and all these people you want to live here, but they're not going to be able to afford a house based on the decisions being made in this room.
but also on the flip side, my ADA friends that want to buy in a location that can't traverse down their neighborhoods because we're worried about 5 feet. That's another problem too. We can't forget them. We can't leave them out. We got to figure out what that balance is. And like I said, what frustrates me most about anything is we say that we don't want this, but what's the solution? I have not heard a solution come back to how to solve the problems that we're trying to address. It's always no, it's delay. Then what's the solution? Because we want to find a solution that works for you, but works for us too. But we don't know what that is unless you could help us solve that solution.
No, I mean, you're asking for a solution that changes across the board, something that you can implement that solves all problems, right? That is not possible. At some point, you have to pick which is most important to you. If ADA accessibility and those small instances, because it's not every neighborhood that's like that. You're saying this based on a few areas. If that's the decision you're going to make for the whole, instead of the decision of affordability for the entire community, that's why we elected you. You have to make that decision, but you have to own the fact that that is a decision that you're consciously making. And I would just argue that.
And I'll own it too, but I need
No,
you guys to own it too and help us with the solution. That's all I'm asking.
No,
Is we're trying to come up with a solution for some of these challenges that we're facing. But we never get, when it's always when it's a roadblock for you guys, we don't get anything back that tells us what is the alternative? What can we do to solve that problem? Like Michael
when we
just-
had
I'll
our
just bring
work,
up what Michael said. So if you have a 3-car garage, if you have the 3rd car garage that's back there, that's set back 25 feet, the rest of it's 20, right? Okay, that solves the problem with most families don't have 2 or 3 trucks that are kin size that are 23
when
feet.
you're
right?
talking to people trying to afford affordable housing, a lot of them don't have long bed trucks either, because they are also $80,000. I mean, these are all
They're
conversations.
driving their work truck home that their boss pays for and parking it in their driveway halfway across the sidewalk. That's some of the problem.
What I can promise to do is not buy long bed trucks for my crews,
They're
which I
bringing home a
don't.
work truck.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, there's a lot of there's challenges on both, along all
Yeah,
that side.
and
So I
understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying every decision has a consequence that you have to
Yeah.
fully realize. And that is
yeah.
and that's my job here today, is to show those effects.
Okay.
And then at the same time, our comments are, I think I already went above and beyond regarding conversations on the code,
on the
not-
level of service.
level of service. Not that we're against that thought, but just the way that it's currently written and defined is not enforceable in any way consistently. That was also the comment that we got from,
I want to talk about that a little bit though.
all right, let's do it. Okay.
I got to find it here again though.
It's at the very, oh, sorry.
Was it before this one?
Are you talking about level of service?
Yeah, level of
What's
service.
in the text?
Yep. What was that
It's towards
items D?
it's towards-
Is it D? Is it exhibit D, Sean? Level of service?
386,
Yeah, page
360,
69.
368, 360.
What is it? I'm sorry, Jenna.
Oh, no, that was the garages. Sorry. Let me find my paper.
Oh, D. Okay, so I gotta go down. Okay.
207, what's that?
Level of service, it's
That was
page
on-
45 in the page 45 or 402, 402, 401. They added a page, 401.
There we go.
Right here.
Oh, right
There
there.
you go.
Like, it's not the same one. All right, so I just want to, because you talk about predictability on it.
Yeah,
So let's talk about what the standards that we're trying to achieve and what does that mean when you say it's not predictable? I want to understand what you're saying there. Because like on fire emergency, as determined by fire district, fire response times of 5 minutes or less, insurance ratings of 4 or better, meaning 4, 3, 2, or 1. Police response times of 1 officer per 1,000, 4 minute or less response times, 18 crimes or less per 1,000. Proactive policing versus reactive. Potable water, we are saying Star Sewer Water may advise the council if development can or cannot be served by the district. And transportation network performance, level service D or better, as determined by the Transportation Authority's review and or independent consultant with council approval. So those are the only 4 things that we're talking about on level of service. So
Sure.
what is not predictable on that, I guess, when you're talking about that? 'Cause I need to
yes, we
understand
talked
that.
about that. When we discussed it before, it was largely due to the fact that it is not defined as like, okay, so, and we discussed this with the fire Victor, right? Is it based off of within what radius? Is it based off of at time of full build out? Is it based off of for the whole city, that specific area? Is it based off of like when everything that's ever approved is currently built out? Even if it's a multi-plat 10-year project, and is it level of service when anything that's been approved is that way, even though it might be 10 years and doesn't take into consideration what it might be put in place in the interim? Because the way it's written, if that's the case, then any mitigation would be on the person who's going to be putting in that stuff first, even if projects that are larger are 10 phases. There's a lot that goes into the way that it's written and not defined.
So timing is a definition, basically, is what you're looking for.
Timing, area of impact, how those numbers are calculated, the way that it's currently written is so broad, it's not enforceable. It's going to make your job incredibly difficult. It's going to make anyone planning for a project that's going to require the amount of financing to pull something like that off really hard to be able for us to guess what our costs are going to be all in. And to invest, even to get to that point, you're already investing a lot of money. And so without any of that stuff clearly defined that we can look up, it's going to be really hard to do any projects in the city as written. Does that make sense? Did I answer that?
Yeah, how they are calculated, basically, is what you're saying.
How it's
Right.
calculated isn't clearly defined as written.
Well, I think they're clearly defined, but the timing is not
Timing,
defined is what you're
area.
asking for and how they.
Area, so that, is that
Approval.
so a subdivision like Willowbrook doesn't affect Pinewood Lakes area, right? Is that what we're saying, is the fire stations may service different areas, different times? And if it affects here, it's got nothing to do with the other end of town.
That's one way that you could look at that, of whether or not it's measurable. But the way it's written, is it for the whole city? Like, or is it for that impact area? And what is defined as that impact area? That is going to be the area that you're looking at to create those level of service. Does that make, am I being clear?
Okay.
Chris? Just kidding. I just wanted to say hi over there in the corner. You're just hanging out.
No, we got it. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure.
Those are the
talk through that
things-
because that's important.
That is
It's
important.
important information to have out there, right?
Yeah.
You know, whether or not we talked about it in a workshop, it needs to come out here in the public hearing
Oh.
on what that is all about, right?
Yeah.
Not just complain about level of service.
Yeah. And it's not about the fact that we shouldn't use a level of service as a definer, and not that we're not saying we don't understand why. Solution-based also is just to get all those people in a room to have those discussions and ask those questions to define it in greater terms. I'm not asking that we don't do level of service, just as written, it's not ready to be adopted, in my opinion. And in the opinion of the people that I currently represent tonight.
So I'm gonna just make a statement here. So if we were to table the level of service, I would ask the BCA to come up with a solution to what you were just talking about and bring it back. If we're gonna table it. Because
I would say that we're not educated enough to do it without those service
you're educated enough
providers.
to make a statement that says that you can't do it. So I think you are educated enough to do it.
I also think that it's not just our opinion, but it's also the opinion of the service providers and how they would be able to write those letters that are required, like what, and
But
helping us define
I
that.
guess my point is, as the builders, you come in, you want us to stop this based on level of service. You can't, what's the define of the impact area? How are they calculated? All that kind of stuff.
You
You
should
want to
want
stop that.
You should want that. As a city council, you should want that.
I'm not saying I don't.
Okay.
What I'm saying is your organization is asking us to delay this. Bring solutions to the delay.
Are you
That's
willing
what
to
I'm
be a part of a working group that allows that?
I
or-
will, but
or
I will not
assign
have a
staff?
working group of 10 BCA guys and 3 city guys. That's not going to happen. My thing is come together as the building contractors and have a designator person to come in to talk and sit down and have that conversation. Because it gets overpowering sometimes with people and it's
So
just,
you don't want me to invite all my friends is what you're saying?
I'm
Too,
not telling you that.
too many opinions in one art.
Representative, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Have a couple people representing that, not a whole slew of folks. A couple people representing it, talking about it. Come to the
That's
table
fair.
with solutions and we'll work on it.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, that's all I'm asking you.
I'll be there, but not with all my friends as requested.
Not tonight.
Not to, I mean, I'm cold, I'm hungry. Let's just keep it going. You never know what we're all going to agree to. Yeah. Kevin.
Thank you for coming and
Yeah.
being willing to
Oh,
be the voice.
I don't
We're
mind.
grateful for that.
Yeah, no, I
I don't
appreciate
mind the
it.
The
conversation.
truth is, you can see how 10 opinions in one room doesn't make progress. Get your
Absolutely.
opinions together and bring them as a one,
I agree.
and let's move forward. We're all for that. Let's make smart decisions. We both want the best product available,
We do.
and
I just think,
it's just got to have a positive,
Right.
not
Yeah.
just a stall tactic, because that's what it feels like.
That's what it
from our
feels like.
Point of view,
Understood.
it's always, just hold off on that. Just hold off on that. It's never a, here's the answer. Here's a suggestion of an answer even.
100%.
That's what we're after.
No, and I will say, I appreciate so much your willingness to work with us and even allowing us to have these conversations and to work through these solutions. So I agree. I will be there and I will only bring my most qualified friends, but only less than can fit on one hand. You've heard it here, everybody.
Okay, anything else, Miss Jenna? Any questions for Miss Jenna?
Any questions for Miss Jenna? Sean, over there, you're quiet. You're not allowed to ask questions tonight? Okay.
You'll be one of those people in the 5 category.
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman Solomon?
So regarding the garage setback, do you happen to know what like other Treasure Valley cities, what their,
Every city is 20 feet with the exception of Caldwell, just adjusted theirs to 22.
and that's for the entire front garage, like both, the garage
It's
face?
a minimum garage setback. So, some of us, we build already our third bay back further elevation wise, but the furthest front that it can go is 20. And in the one exception city would be Caldwell, which adopted 20.
22.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Thank you for that question. Thanks,
What-
everyone.
Yes, you're done. Thank you. Thank you, Jenna. All right, Miss Kathy, did you want to speak? You don't have to. So, but it's to these code items only that we're talking about. That's it. The four sections that we're talking about, understand that on that, so.
Kathy Freeman, 10519 West Vega Court,
West Vega?
Vega. I am a special education teacher. I commute.
You need to talk into the microphone because no one can hear you online.
I'm a teacher. I commute to Alaska to teach because in order to earn enough money to live in Star, because you have to earn 120,000 a year in order to live in Star. So everything this young woman is attempting to do to, that's one of my primary questions is there going to be any way for someone, a teacher, the people who are teaching your kids at the school to afford to live here? And I think that Ms. Jenna is attempting to make that possible. So
Talking to the microphone though.
is
Thank you.
attempting to make that a possible, Ms. Jenna is. And there are solutions. The one thing I would say right now, because I have a whole list, and I would start a newsletter, podcast, or something. But two things is a good reason to wait on sounds like you're making some major decisions in a time when half the community is off vacationing. Students are out
That's
of
not
school.
I'm going to just be honest, that's not a valid statement because there's a lot of citizens that come to these things. They come to my town halls and stuff and talk about that. So decisions, city council meetings are posted first and third Tuesdays of every month. I'm not trying to be argumentative, but I take
You're
offense to the
taking
statement.
3 minutes.
No, you got more minutes. I promise you, because I'm talking.
Okay, so what I'm saying, I've been to the city council meetings and these and the other meetings.
Right.
And there were 6 people. There's
And
22.
the people have got to be willing to come to the meetings.
And-
Even during the school year, when we have big meetings, they're not here. So the argument is not valid. I just take offense to something like that to say the city is doing
Oh,
something.
I'm sorry. I was going to say that.
Okay.
Please don't take offense. I am attempting to, as I am in and out of here, I mean, I'm here for like 3 months out of the year, and then the rest of the time I'm flying back and forth in order to earn enough money to maintain a house here. And so it's very difficult for me to keep up with everything that's going on. But one thing that would be helpful, I'm just, submitting this to you, is that I have no idea what some of the things you're talking about, but even in the stores, there could be in the stores, in the library, in the post office, where people are continually, your comprehensive plan, a map or something could be out there where people can see it and you could say, this is what we're, wanting to do. Most people just want to come home after a hard day's work and sit down and watch, MASH or something. I don't know, whatever.
You say MASH? Boy, that's an old.
That's what I watch. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Okay, the other thing, and the rest of mine, I will put in a newsletter or something and put it in the newspaper, but is to consider, I'm just sitting here thinking, it seems like reinventing the wheel. How many times have we had this? I've had a house here for 20 years and I've been trying to move out for 20 years. But is to have a city planner, like to actually hire somebody who is a professional city.
We have one of those. So if you've been in Alaska too long, you don't realize that we do have a city
Okay.
planner sitting right there. That's
Okay.
professional, that's been doing it for 30 years.
Okay, because you're talking about wanting solutions, and I have a lot of ideas for that. But I don't have time to sit down and do that because I have to try to earn a living. So hiring somebody with a city and planning urban development degree, do you have a master's degree?
He's got the degree.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, all right, because I'm like on the phone
So
too.
if you go to staridaho.org, we got every bit of information that you were talking about is all available.
I've been on the city website. I don't have time to sit there and try. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to, infer anything. But, most people, they're running in and out of the store. There was somebody at the store the other day taking a survey about not really taking a survey, but a table on the food bank. They're raising money for a food bank. Well, where's the money for the food going to come from? We already have buildings like churches that have food banks, and maybe that money could go toward buying food to donate.
So
to
let me
the
ask a
food
question.
banks.
So we need to narrow your scope down to the 4 things that we're talking about tonight.
Oh, yeah.
The food bank has
Okay.
nothing to do with the city of Star. It's a separate entity.
What it does have to do with Star.
It does not have anything to do
know,
with the
it's
city
not
of
a
Star.
city. I
It's
know,
not a
it's
city
a-
function. It's a private function, a
I know.
nonprofit
I
that deals
know.
with that.
Well, I
So-
only have a few days left before I have to go back to Alaska, so.
So what are so
I
on those
know.
4 exhibits that we were talking about, which is our level of service and those things,
Okay.
speak specifically to those.
All right, one thing, at one of your little 3:30 meetings that nobody can come to because they're still at work, is, I mentioned one time is that Horseshoe Bend still has a volunteer fire department.
What is that? That doesn't have anything to do with these 4 codes.
Level service. It goes with that,
Okay,
having,
but our fire response time is 5 minutes or less, insurance rating of 4 or better,
oh, okay.
right? That
That's
is all
fine.
we're talking about on that. It has nothing to
Okay.
do with staffing of that right now.
Okay, I don't
We're
have
talking
anything to
about
say on that.
numbers, yes.
Okay, what were the other things?
Well, we have, I mean, huh?
I
Yeah,
have
there's-
a list of things I wanted to talk about, but I don't know if they all go on to that.
It-
Oh, moving the town downtown. Now, that's
That's
not.
a
on-
south of river plan that,
South of
that
River.
was part of the comp plan, right? That it's not
Yeah,
part of
I
this
didn't get to talk about.
this
well,
section.
So,
I hate to do that, but we have to, because we're on a public hearing, we've got to stay focused on
oh, yes,
sections that we're talking about here.
I know.
One is our building code that we talked about, Exhibit B, Advisory Committee, Exhibit A, our Unified Development Code, talking about several different things there, and our level of services, which is D.
Okay,
And that's it.
okay,
Oh, and the flood ordinance, which is E.
the flood,
F and
okay,
G is not on here.
okay. I guess the only other thing that I had to say was about, if you're gonna split the city down the middle, is to have Star North and Star South and incorporate a new star. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, that's all who signed up to speak. Do you guys have questions of staff right now? Have a discussion? Questions of Chris? Sean? You have comments? Oh. No? Okay.
Can I just add one comment?
Yeah.
And just something to consider. That's not an opinion, but one thing to think about as we reduce backyard sizes, coming from, as I review every building permit that we have, and as I deal with a lot of stuff that comes in, one of the most common things is with patio covers and not having enough room in our code within the setbacks to build a patio cover. So just something to consider as you're deliberating the impact that has as we reduce a backyard size on every one of those homes. So just something to consider, because it is quite common that we have homeowners that want to come in and build a patio cover and they can't because there's not enough room in their setback. So thank you.
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman?
So Ryan, are you still involved with the code enforcement? Or is that
Yes.
totally separate? Okay.
No,
So do you,
I'm still involved with it.
okay. And so do you think if we were to, like start filing complaints about vehicles in the car or parked out on the sidewalk, and maybe we do like a press release or something that goes out to the public that saying, that is not to park your long truck don't block the sidewalk. Would the city be able to handle the phone calls and the code enforcement process?
That's more of an enforcement issue.
Yeah.
I'd have to have chief address that,
Okay.
from an enforcement perspective.
Mayor, Councilwoman, yeah, he's correct. That is enforcement, and we don't have an issue doing that if people are calling in and making those complaints.
You're gonna have to have a code though, right?
Yes, we will have to have a law to enforce, but
Yeah.
if such a law exists or ordinance in our case, yeah, we would enforce that.
So this is the challenge that you're gonna have. You have HOAs out there. I've lived in 2 of them here in Star that do not allow you to park in your driveway. Or no, sorry, park on the streets.
Right, right.
So if
Or
there's
their
no
rental.
option for them to be able to park in their own neighborhood, how do you fix that problem? You got to quit putting those in. You can't answer the question anymore. We're done. You can't put that in the ordinance. You can't put we create a problem, I guess, on the HOA's got to quit putting that in their HOAs that you can't park on the streets. It's as simple as that in their documents, right? I've had that argument and fight with them for years on that. But I get where you're
Yeah,
going.
Yeah.
It's a
So,
solution.
but
We just
that
gotta figure
could
that
be,
out.
yeah, so maybe a compromise. I totally understand. And, the affordability for housing that is most often like at the top of my mind as we're making decisions. And it's really hard to balance affordability when they're already minimum 400,000 or 500,000. You know, for like our kids can't afford them. I couldn't afford to live here today after, yeah. Anyways, and so, yeah, it's really hard, but we also have to we also are trying to balance the hometown community feeling, which includes, like people being outside, knowing your neighbors, being able to walk through your neighborhood, all that stuff. And so I might be willing, as we're talking about it, I'd love to get the others' opinions up here about maybe a compromise of 22-foot garage, 22 garage setback plus
23.
23.
You said 23.
Oh, did she say 23? Yeah, that was
Yeah, I heard 23.
22 plus the I'll look into code enforcement, writing some sort of that could help. I would love your help with that, Chief. Any other comments about that? Or no? That's fine too.
No, I mean, but
Yeah.
23 is not going to solve your issue unless they park all the way next to the garage.
No.
What if
Or 22, I'm sorry.
What if we were to do
More foot on you.
what if we were to say, and do we have any that are single car garage? in our code?
Not yet.
Okay, so if we were to say one of those garage faces has to be 25 feet back.
Well, that changes that's still the same issue with the setbacks in the back, whether it's 1 or 2, unless it's a 3-car garage that they've already designed into their project. See what I mean? So if you take a 2-car garage and try to set one back like that, that's a whole new design for everybody. They have to redesign it, and then you still have the same setback issue on the backyard. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
No, I
not
understand
an
that.
option.
On a
so-
3-car garage, a little different because you see many of them, like maybe my house, the 3rd car is set back further, another 6 or 7 feet. I guess the other solution is just to adjust setbacks altogether. And she didn't even turn her head when I said that.
The single.
So it's a thought, 22 feet on there as a start. But you guys are going to have to decide what's best for that. Okay. So we have ideas. I don't know where Kevin's at, Mr. Wheelock.
And oh, sorry. Go ahead,
Is
Steve.
that Councilman Day?
Excuse me. Yeah, the overwhelming majority of the comments I've gotten when we've talked about increasing that setback to 25 feet have been overwhelmingly positive. Because it's like 2 and 3 and 4-fold, because you got all these HOA rules, and you can't park on the street. You got these developers that are building houses and the driveways are 10 and 12 feet deep, and you got people parking horizontal across their yards, across their driveway, and they don't have a.
Well, Steve, sorry, they're at minimum of 20-foot deep.
No, but I'm just saying that you've got some driveways that are really short, and you get like just your average size SUV is blocking the sidewalk. So, I think we identified a problem and we came up with a solution to that problem. And I understand, what Jen is saying, right? She's bringing a problem with no solution other than do what we want you to do. So I think, if you're gonna bring forward a problem, then bring forward a solution for that problem, and that's what we have done. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. I do have a question for Chris, though. I'm going to go back to Jennifer's comments about code enforcement on that. Is there anything that we can do as a city to pass sweeping legislation that wipes out any HOA's ability to say that you can't park on the streets? You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is the challenge. I mean, some of these, I'll just give you Pinewood Lakes, for instance. Pinewood Lakes does not allow you to park on the street. And those driveways are not very long either over there, right? And so if we can do something that says that the HOAs cannot enforce parking in streets on there.
But if you look at the Pinewood Lakes subdivision, it's got a way wider drive down the street. To me,
They're 36 feet though.
there's 36 feet, but you don't have the same problem that you have at Blake Haven subdivision, where you get cars parked on both sides of the street and then you've got one lane traffic. That's the other problem to that solution of parking on the street as a suggested method.
I think, I don't know. I'm trying to find a solution for that. We may not be able to solve it tonight. It may be something that you want to table. I don't know on that.
Mayor, I think to answer your question, I think the city or some cities do put regulations in their code that require certain things to be in CCNRs. ACHD often requires that there be storm drainage maintenance included in the CCNRs, for instance. I think the city could potentially just say that all new CCNRs have to have, a clause or something that says that street parking is allowed. And I think that's probably enforceable. The reality is CCNRs are contracts. And so when they get put in place, they become contract enforcement, not city code enforcement, no matter what it is, right? Whether it's what color you can paint your house or those things. I mean, they put those regulations in CCNRs. But I think if the city was saying, this goes back to the welfare conversation we had before, right? If we're talking about, we're doing this for the benefit of the welfare of the residents of the community to allow street parking in subdivisions, I think your police power probably extends that far. I'm not aware of anybody that's done it, so we might be the first. I think to Councilman Wheelock's point, there may need to be some consideration for how wide the streets are. I mean, if the streets are too wide, they become drag strips. If they're too narrow and then you have these big trucks that are parked in the street, you could actually get to a point where somebody maybe couldn't even drive between them. And so there's some parts of that you'd have to kind of think through, which it's most of that's just math. But or engineering. So I think you could get there if that's what the city decided to do. I think there's room for creativity. There's clearly a balance. There's lots of competing interests. There's not a one size fits all answer necessarily, but I think there's things we can come up with to maybe help.
Okay. Any other comments on that?
And maybe, yeah, so I think what I'm hearing is maybe some more thought. We might be able to come up with a better solution that, or a solution that might work a little bit, have less impact. Yeah. And another piece might be that we just, for 3-car garages, that we require that at least one bay be recessed, and then that would get us to the recessed 25 feet, and that would get at least one spot at 25 for the larger 3-car garages, and so that would maybe solve part of the problem, but I think code enforcement would be a big one. Making sure that people can park in their driveway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, Mayor Chadwick, I think the ADA concern is a thing, and it shouldn't be like, well, it's only one ADA person that we're causing an issue with. Why should we, change everything just because we've got one person in a wheelchair that can't get around the truck? And we can't look at it like that. Everybody has a right to walk down the city sidewalk or in a wheelchair or whatever that case may be. So I don't think,
Yeah,
It's more than just ADA, but it's moms.
yeah, that's what I'm
and
saying.
strollers.
But we
It's
can't look
everything.
at it like, well, those are like far and few between. That doesn't matter. That shouldn't be a consideration that it's far and few between.
yeah, bottom line is, I think that we would all agree that we have a problem with vehicles hanging out into sidewalks, and we're trying to solve that problem.
Correct.
And I was, I put this out there. I was hoping it was a solution, but from what I'm hearing, and it is giving me some more thought, more things to consider. And so I think I would be okay to maybe table this part or take it out, and I will, we'll bring it back as a separate ordinance or something. So whatever that solution is.
We talk about a compromise on, 23.5 or something along those lines, but not give up the whole farm.
Right.
Mr. Mayor, another option, which isn't perfect, but the city can also adopt an ordinance that makes it illegal to park over a sidewalk.
Correct.
I think other cities have now, obviously for houses that have a 20-foot driveway and a 22-foot long truck, that's a problem. But, if it's.
Well, that's where I was,
Yeah, so
that's
the
where I was trying to go
combination-
though, and go with this HOA thing, where the HOAs are telling folks and some of their CCNRs that they cannot park on the street.
Yeah.
And so the solution so when I was in Pinewood Lakes with this one, their solution was I rent a spot in their storage unit, park 4 blocks away and walk to my house every day with my truck. That was their solution.
It's a nice moneymaker.
Right. And so that's not right either.
Agreed. Yeah. And so I think there's some ways that we can maybe kind of cobble together a few different ideas to kind of get where we're headed. For instance, if going forward, new subdivisions have to allow street parking, and then you could actually, prohibit, by, kind of code enforcement, having vehicles that extend over the sidewalk. I don't think we would be the first city to have that kind of an ordinance. So anyway, I'm just saying there's opportunities here to be creative and try to figure out how to make it work.
Yep.
Recognizing that we've got a history of houses that have been built here for a long time that are going to be hard to continue to regulate going forward.
I so on this piece here, I don't know, Councilman Day, that we're giving up the farm. If we table it and just look at all those solutions and try to
Oh,
find
no.
it.
Yeah,
And-
no,
and-
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, don't, as far as going back to 20 feet, which is inadequate for most, most cars and trucks, they're, or SUVs, they're right there, right? So I'm just saying a compromise between the 25 and the 20. Don't give, I'm just saying, maybe there's a number there, like I said, 23.5 or something of that nature, where I can have a reasonable, solution to it.
So if I'm gonna just go a different direction. So if we were to table the 834A4, look at all these different solutions, write them all down, come back and talk about that and see if there's anything that's feasible with an ordinance or any of that kind of stuff. And then make a decision. Because we talked about a lot of different things with this.
Yeah, table that portion
Just that portion.
to the same date as,
The other two.
August 18th.
7C.
Right.
And then bring it back. And look at all of it.
You can have the Jenna and her group meet you and have a 30-day, this is your window. And then we're gonna go forward, making the best decision we can for both sides of the equation and own it.
So we have an idea there. So when I close the public hearing, just remember that for your discussion. I do have one more thing that I need to bring up real quick on the committee stuff that staff has asked me about that we forgot to talk about on here a little bit. On the ad hoc committee part. Let's see, where's it at here? On 1-16-5 on terms, on page 363, where it says ad hoc advisory committees may be established by the mayor and serve for the duration of the signed project. I think we just need to add number 1 underneath that, an indented 1 that says that ad hoc committees must follow the same rules as established in 1-16-7, which is your requirements for meetings and quorums. I just want to make sure it's clear on those ad hocs that it's just not a free-for-all. They still have to follow the same code.
Well, and can I add, with ad hoc committees, we realize that although they can have meetings and things, they can't make decisions or take action on their own, right? They're just a committee that recommends to the,
It's a recommended
committee.
body.
Still an advisory
Okay.
committee.
they don't make decisions or take any actions or any of that
Right.
in there. Okay.
But it's that would fall under our whole, yeah. Yep. So when you guys go to discussions, I'd ask you that you enter those in there as well.
Did you note that, Sean? Section 1-16 yes.
All right. So
Well, Mayor Chadwick.
well, it's just adding in the ones, it's basically under,
Meetings and quorums,
yeah,
16-7.
so 116-5 terms, ad hoc advisory committees may be established by the mayor and serve for the duration of the signed project. Put a 1 underneath there with something that says that they must follow all rules and requirements relating to meetings and quorums. And 2, that they are an advisory only. Did you get that? You were gonna ask me a question, sorry.
Well, no, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so from the discussions that we had before I close this hearing, we talked at length about this 25 feet and pulling that to the 18th. And what about the level of service ordinance? Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, did Chris, it's getting kind of late here. So did Chris chime in? Did we get his opinion? Chris, are you, well, no, I think that there's more work that needs to be done based on the input. Would you agree with that, Chris?
No, it's your decision. It's not
Yeah,
his.
I don't know.
He's
Maybe-
advisory in nature.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that we have enough, as it's written today, like that it would hold up? Yeah. No, I think we should table it.
So when?
Well, you're gonna meet with them?
August, well, it will,
It's a long meeting,
August
A lot of-
18th.
a lot of information to cover in one shot.
Should we,
No, I think we need to do it on August. I think we still bring it back August 18th.
Just have it be a specific targeted answer so that we're focused a little bit.
Well, yeah, so it's
Than
gonna,
the 400 pages we're going through tonight.
so Jen, so based on what we talked about is the level and timing. And how are they calculated? And so we'll sit down and have that meeting and try to come up with that solution.
Because you're talking about just those 2 or 3 different points of,
Right.
do you divide it by fire station? How long does it have to be that level of service when it's all done, during construction? What's that look like so that they can predict their financing?
Okay? So those are the only 2 items that we talked about on there, right? The make changes.
and then also Denise's with the financial institution for the
Oh, and that park
CBD
district,
A
requesting us to put a no
to go to a no.
for financials.
Yep.
Mr. Mayor, we'll extend that to the art
Just-
and the village district.
To
To
what?
the
To the
entire,
art and the village district,
Art and Village.
okay.
since
Okay.
they're similar.
All right, so then it's 10:23. I'm going to close the public hearing and go to council deliberations.
It seems like we deliberated quite a bit and I'm
Well, you can
comfortable.
make a motion,
Yeah.
whatever you want to do.
You want to go for it? No, you.
I'm-
There's a lot.
I make a motion that we table, that we table the items we've discussed to be brought back August 18th.
So
with
let's,
specific
level of service,
level of service
Exhibit D, level of service.
with the driveway issue to be discussed specifically.
And A3, 8-3A-4 is that one. Yeah, 8-3A-4.
Eight-
A-3A-4. So those 2 sections we're going to table, you want to make table to win.
Table to August 18th.
Can we break that out like that, Chris? Yeah, okay. All right. So I'm going to take it in 2 motions and I want to just do the tabling part of that, Chris. Is that okay? And then come back? Or
Yeah,
does
that's
that have to be all
fine. I
part
don't
of
know
the same
if
motion?
Sean might have a comment before you go that path.
So are you approving part of the ordinance and then tabling part of it?
We're going to take those pieces out and table them and then approve the remainder of the
Or
ordinance.
rather you just table it all till the 18th because then you're creating different dates, the different approval dates. And it's just gonna be
Do you
confusing.
want to table the whole thing until? the
I
18th?
think you need to, but just bring up those specific
Just
issues.
those 2
on
items
the
that we're
18th,
working
yeah.
specifically then. Okay.
That's what staff read.
So then to make a motion to table the whole thing,
18th.
to the August 18th with the direction to work on those 2 specific items and list them.
That's what I thought I was hoping to do.
Awesome.
Hey.
That was my original goal, and then we started getting,
A4 is the table, or to work on that item, and then Exhibit D,
and
level of service, Exhibit D, level of service.
the N for the,
Well,
Yes.
we could just make a, I mean, we won't approve that until.
take care of the district N. Thank you.
Right, so make your motion then.
So I'll make a motion that we table
The zoning.
7B municipal code with the amendment continued from May 5th, 2026, with the option to come back and talk about specifically Exhibit D and 83A4 specific to setbacks and length, level of service on the fire.
Okay, have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second. Oh,
We have a motion, and a second by Councilman Day. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Day,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Solomon.
I,
Okay, that motion carries. We will hear that back on August 18th with those two specific items. We are at the end of our agenda. It's 10:27 and we are adjourned.